is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover Sakamoto Days, Mission Yozakura Family, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, and One Piece, week to week. Also, this week we are doing the premiere coverage for Aliensarea, which is exciting. I'm your host, Eagle.
Knox.
And I'm Melo Yenis.
And yeah, with that last little bit being said, we have decided to add Aliensarea to the show. At first, we were thinking about putting it to a poll, letting you guys kind of decide, what series we would add out of some of the newer series. But then we kind of really just sat down and talked amongst each other, considered what our strengths are and kind of what our lane is. And we thought that Aliensarea kind of fit best into our skill set in terms of analysis and would allow us to give you guys the best experience in terms of viewership of that analysis. So yeah, that is basically the long and short of it. So with that being said, take a look in that description box as always down below, where you can find links to any and all of our individual social media accounts like Twitter, online communities like Discord, audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, as well as the link to our Patreon if you want to support what we do more than you do by watching. So also, one more quick thing before we get started. Chainsaw Man is obviously back. We will be covering it, but unfortunately we will, be adding it to our Patreon special grade podcast, only because it doesn't have the same updating schedule as the, regular weekly Shonen Jump that updates on Sundays. So scheduling wise and content wise, being that it's on Jump Plus, it just fits better on the Patreon show. So to compensate for that unfortunate fact, we will be lowering the price of the special grade tier from $15 to $10. So hopefully that'll, make that barrier of entry a little less intimidating for some of you guys. So you can get in on that Chainsaw Man content, which a lot of you probably follow us for, being that, we were big Chainsaw Man lovers when it was on our main show. So yeah. And we'll also put a link down in the description box to Knox's live stream, where he kind of goes in depth about all the changes that are about to be happening, if you guys would like, to hear more about that. Also, timestamps down there you can use to navigate yourself through the video and avoid spoilers for series that you're not caught up in yet. And yeah, man, what a fantastic week in Jump. We're missing a couple chapters, but pretty strong week overall still. Knox, what'd you think of the week overall? What'd you think was the strongest chapter?
The week was fire. Everything was great. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is my favorite chapter this week. It was between that and Mission Yozakura Family. I liked both so much, but Jujutsu Kaisen just gave us everything that I've been waiting for in the culling game. So I had to go with Jujutsu.
Jujutsu. How about you, Mello?
Honestly, I'm in the same camp. I'm really happy with Jujutsu. This is a nice reference point to really show the changes of time in a series that is mostly about parallel actions and the multiple things happening all at once.
Yeah. Gonna get a nice little shift.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking again this week, man. It's surprising, but it's between Yozakura and Jujutsu for me. I'm with you, Knox. It's a tight one actually, which is crazy considering just how big this Jujutsu Kaisen chapter was in terms of the content that we got, the characters that we see now that we haven't seen in a little bit. And the fact that Yozakura Family is stacking up to that, what I'm saying, in my mind, in terms of what chapter I think was strongest overall this week is says a lot. Yeah. But
the Momo game is vicious in this Mission Yozakura Family chapter, so it makes sense.
Dude. Yeah. But like I said, man, in terms of the content that we got, what we see, who comes back, bro. I don't think anything can really stack up to Jujutsu Kaisen this week in terms of strength of the chapter overall.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's JJK for me as well, baby.
All day.
Clean sweep across the board.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Well, shit, with that being said, let's just jump right into it, man. We're going to be doing kind of an introductory overall thoughts on the series of Aliensarea here, and then we're going to do kind of a more in-depth conversation on the most recent chapter kind of at the tail end of it. So, I don't know. Knox, why don't you get us started off? What do you think of Aliensarea overall as a series?
Dude, I love Aliensarea. Right away from chapter 1, I was like, oh shit, it's Nabafusai. Like when I heard that it was Nabafusai doing Aliens Area, I was like, well shit, dude. I'm like, I was really fucking with Hakiri Gomen or Harakiri Gomen when that was like doing its thing. I mean, like it wasn't like really like a serialization for Harakiri Gomen from what I remember. I only like peeped like the first chapter or two, but I was just like, this Nabafusai guy. Holy shit, he's just kind of fucking speaking to me with this series. And then I see that he's coming to Weekly Shonen Jump with this like sci-fi action series, and I'm like, well, okay, hold on, wait a minute, this dude is speaking to me directly in like a couple of different areas. And then I read the first chapter of Aliens Area, and I was like, okay, Men in Black the manga, yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking do that. And I could tell that it was, you know, I could tell from the first chapter that it was familiar enough. You know what I mean? As far as like that Men in Black, like sci-fi, like aliens live among us kind of like vibe.
Yep.
But then I could also tell that it was going to, you know, it was going to bring enough of like a unique factor to it. Like he was going to have like as much of a unique take as kind of like what I would need from a series that was that reminiscent of, you know, Men in Black or previous sci-fi storytelling that is kind of like commonplace now as far as like the history of that kind of goes. I feel like there's a million stories that are like aliens live among us. You know, I mean, you got like even inside of manga, you got like Level E by Yoshihiro Togashi that he did like right after almost said Jujutsu Kaisen, Yu Yu Hakusho, Yu Juju. You know what I'm saying? Come on,
Yu.
But no, like yeah, like you know, you see, we've seen it before, but this feels like really fresh still at the same time. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm agreeing. I'm loving Aliens Area overall so far. Obviously, the Men in Black-esque setting is super tight to see as a sci-fi fan and as a fan of the movies and the story of Men in Black. That sci-fi space exploration feel, you know, with, you know, alien species running around, different technologies in play, like utilizing alien technologies, super high-tech things.
Yeah.
Always really tight to see. And on top of that, we get like intergalactic, you know, politics already a little bit, kind of revolutions, usurpation, fucking of empires, which is, those are aspects that are obviously really, that I personally find super interesting. I know Knox does as well, probably.
Yes.
Probably Mello as well.
Yeah.
So
we're all
like
sci-fi
nerds. Fits right into our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm just loving it all overall so far as a series. And after loving Men in Black so much, like I said earlier, and like Knox said earlier, definitely can't wait to experience Men in Black the manga.
Yeah.
You know, because we all know the Eastern storytelling just kind of has that certain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They take Western ideas and just like fucking just take off with them in like such fun and amazing ways. You know what I mean? It's just like so regular for them to do this kind of shit.
Yeah. And to like dovetail off of that, in terms of like the combat tech, I'm also really loving the tech gear that we're seeing so far inside of the combat system.
Yeah.
The idea obviously of like utilizing alien tech to do different shit to what the fuck, what word am I thinking of, to augment your physical ability, or like utilize, you know, concepts of physics even.
Yeah.
That's all super tight.
Yes.
And it's exciting for the story in terms of the combat system, because like it's basically limitless possibilities for the tech, you know, because like I said, you're kind of utilizing physics, you know, like we see Shakura, is it
Shiraku?
Shiraku, yeah, we see Shiraku with the gravity tech, and you know, so we can utilize concepts of physics, different shit like that. And then in terms of them like dovetailing off your point about how, you know, manga creators or Eastern storytellers take the Western ideas and kind of really expand on them and you know, take them to the stratosphere.
Yeah, take them to new levels.
The potential for the just off the wall imagination alien tech that like, who knows what the fuck aliens have. I can come up with whatever the fuck I want. Like the potential for the combat system here is limitless in terms of the tech, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Or close to it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's letting alone like the combat system or, you know, power system that we see inside of like the implantees, right? Like Tatsumi.
Yeah.
And you know, while Shiraku said that it was like similar to the gear, it does feel like kind of a different thing when we see it in action. Right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It seems more flexible, more situationally adaptable, right?
Yeah.
as opposed to just having that one piece of tech gear. Like we see the first time he uses it, it's like the rubber kind of elastic, hard rubber.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Gear Forth Bound Man type beat.
Type shit.
And then the second time he uses it against what's her fucking name? The
Shiraku's
the
like
inspector.
homegirl.
Yeah, the inspector. Shiraku's homegirl, the inspector.
I can't remember her name.
It had like
hold on, Mello. What's her name?
Yumeko Fujiko, the one that
Fujiko.
Yeah, Fujiko.
Yeah. Yep, Fujiko. Yeah. So when Fujiko is turning up on him, it has like a rocky kind of Gollum-esque with, stalactite kind of shit on it. So it seems like its own type of thing. So
yeah.
So, two different power systems with limitless potential on either side. Like I think it's definitely can't wait to see more.
Well, real quick, just before Mello, says how he feels real quick, just to immediately kind of piggyback off of what you were just saying about the different power dynamics inside the system, right? I feel like we have three completely different situations here because you have humans like Shiraku who are, very, adept and knowledgeable, with the alien tech, and you have people of his ilk that are kind of doing the same thing as Shiraku, but then you have the implantees who are kind of forced into the situation and have to deal with assimilating with the technology. And then the third dynamic is the actual aliens who have been born and raised and lived for generations with this technology that are, a whole different level of capable with them. You know what I mean? So it's almost three completely different areas of the power system that have their own, powerful dynamic in the series. But yeah, go ahead, Mello. How do you feel about aliensarea so far?
Kind of looping back to Eagles talking about in chapter 3, Tatsumi having kind of the granite-like exterior, and then also seeing them have blades at one point and really stretchy, loopy rubber band limb. It reminds me of Menthropy from the Chimera Ant arc, the Royal Guard.
Mentutu Yuppie.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite Royal Guard. Don't come at me.
Yuppie.
Yeah.
And it's just it reminded me of that, or it's a little bit Parasite the Maxim.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait.
Yeah?
Mentutu Yuppie is Yuppie's name?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
At least that's how
I've never heard it pronounced correctly.
Yeah, it's in the manga. I don't remember exactly what the translation was for it, but I can't get the voice actors, pronunciation out of my name or out of my head.
Right, I'm sorry. So I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
Yeah. I just heard that first time.
Montutu Yuppie.
Yeah.
I ain't even ever really paid attention. It was just Yuppie. I was just
Yeah.
Oh, that's the boy though. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Continue.
I feel like Tatsumi's abilities are going to be like that. It's going to be, I think, more like Kaiju number 8 kind of situation where it's going to be tied to his physical, because the other member of the group was saying oh, is that scar part of your implementation process? Is that if it's on the left side of your the left side of your face, is that why it affects the right hand part of your body? Mm-hmm. And we know that the brain is connected through all that through the nervous system, and so quite possibly it could be inside his brain. Yeah. I was even thinking about Shiraku. Is why does he have that giant X on his scar, X scar on his forehead? I was wondering, was he someone that was abducted by aliens?
Yeah, I was also thinking is he also an amputee? Because it's just man, that's just so. It almost seems obvious. You know what I mean? You introduce the main character, he's got a scar on the head, and then we find out that he was abducted and had that shit implanted, and now he's got those powers or whatever. And then Shiraku just already has a scar too, but they went out of their way to show that he specifically uses external technology, but that doesn't mean that he isn't also an implantee. You know what I mean? So especially someone in his position to be as high up in the ranks as he is, I could totally see him being an implantee and also just being really well versed with the tech too.
I mean, his looks more like a
scar, he got hit,
battle scar.
Yeah, he got hit by something,
a surgery scar. Because Tatsumi's really does look like it's stitched up. It's a surgery scar. Yeah. It was an incision. It was clean. Shiraku's looks like it was some battle type shit going across his shit.
That's a really good point too. Yeah, that's a really good point too. Like there is a big difference in their scars. Tatsumi's does definitely look a lot more surgical, and Shiraku's does look a lot more like he got hit by something. Yeah, absolutely. But you never know. Like maybe the surgeon was trash or something when they hit Shiraku with his shit.
Maybe it's more focused on like
fucking alien surgeon.
Yeah, maybe he's a quack.
Like maybe it's focused on extraction or something.
Yeah, something.
I feel like the series itself kind of I like the idea of like the underdog. So like I like the fact that like the Earth is basically the ass end of the universe, and like it's basically like the frontier, the Wild West.
Yeah.
It's it's a smaller country so that the intergalactic community at large doesn't really care what happens to Earth. They're like, yeah, we got a basic laws, here we go, but like we're not gonna like invest in like resources to like make sure those laws are enforced. Yeah. It's just it's it's like how the U.S. opens embassies everywhere, but doesn't like really
right.
Do things with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm serious.
No, that he's spitting. That's facts for sure.
It's like we're here to send you bulletins and other missives. We're really we're just there to process things.
Right.
How topical that we're going Project Politics on the show.
I mean, hey, like like this is a series,
is an ongoing thing.
Yeah,
like, this is an ongoing thing.
And like aliens,
a lot of embassies and stuff function like that in a lot of countries.
Yeah,
that was just a reference to the Void Century.
Oh sure, yeah. But yeah, no, oh man, I had a thought too, and
it makes me feel like a little bit like a Wild West vibe. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're out in the boonies. Law enforcement reinforcements are far and few between. We don't have the manpower. We don't have the guns to get all these bandits and all these aliens and stuff that are just kind of doing their own thing. Abducting people, stealing cows. Hard wrestling. It's very, there's a lot of overlap in there.
Well, you would obviously have that underground, that black market where it's like, this dude, we see this dude like, dude, no, I just got to make my quota, G. Like, please just let me, you know what I'm saying?
Just 5.
Let me get a couple more, G. I just need to get 5 by tomorrow, bro, or they going to be on my heels, bro.
One more flip, please.
They going to kill me, G. Come on, I'm just trying to feed my family, bro.
I actually think that one of the aliens in I think that was what the alien in chapter 2 was literally saying. Like,
that's what he was saying. The guy that we get,
and that was like a really cool, kind of like glimpse into the intergalactic politics situation for the series. And we know that if they're talking about it this early, that it's going to be a major thing much later, and that's really exciting because I feel like aliensarea is scratching the itch from like Samurai 8 that we never got before it was axed, where I was like, we're going to be spacefaring, we're going to be going from planet to planet, we're going to be in different solar systems talking to all kinds of like diplomatic, interstellar, political shit, you know what I mean? And then it got axed, and I'm like, oh damn, like I was really waiting for that. And then aliensarea comes out, and it's like they're jumping into that shit pedal to the metal right away, and it's like, oh, okay, this is what we really needed right here.
Bro, we get Men in Black mixed with Elusive Samurai mixed with Samurai 8
type shit. Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah. I really like the fact that they're really jumping into the politics thing. They're like, hey, we have no time to waste. Let's build up interest. We can't tease it. Let's just go into the meat of it, and then we'll build and maintain interest from there.
Right.
I appreciate the idea of like a hot start with a series.
Yeah.
It's a classic combo for characters and stuff, like young but like soft-hearted, and then like capable but enigmatic. There's like that buddy thing for the Men in Black, the rookie and the vet. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
It's like literally perfect in that way. That's fucking hilarious.
It's very much like one that has a lot of tropes, but like I don't think that's wrong or bad, because at some point you can't reinvent the wheel, you know what I mean?
Every time it works. You can't
reinvent the wheel if it works.
You can add some spinners, but you can't reinvent the wheel.
And it's like, even if they are trying to reinvent the wheel in some ways, it's like, even if it's like a little bit more tropey, in other areas, it's like you can't reinvent the wheel at every point, you know what I mean? Like there are just going to be times where you just lean into what's familiar and what's it worked historically, and that's totally fine as long as you leave enough of a unique imprint on whatever it is that you are pulling from. You know what I mean? So Aliens Area feels like we have nothing to worry about in that regard. Tatsumi is already like even though the dynamic between Tatsumi and Shiraku is very similar to Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black, obviously, which is what they were going for. Tatsumi is already still like, or is already pretty different from Will Smith's character, like in Men in Black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
the way that he's like, like just like the family situation with like him and his siblings and whatnot. I can't remember the last time like a shonen main character was, at least coming out of like Weekly Shonen Jump manga, was in the position of like, legal guardian, surrogate parent, for siblings, you know what I mean? Like
a
caretaker, yeah. Like that's usually something that you like find out later about a side character and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. Like, Mitsuya in Tokyo Revengers. How long was it into Tokyo Revengers before we found out that he was basically the same situation and like was doing everything for the sake of his younger brother or sister or something like that, and then he didn't have any parents and he was taking care of him and whatnot. That shit slaps super hard over there in that moment. You know what I mean? But you give that to the main character in chapter 1 and he's just like automatically likable and relatable, and I feel like that's really important for a new series in Weekly Shonen Jump right now because it's so easy, I want to say, to miss axed. to get axed, and maybe because you missed with your main character, you were trying to do too much, trying to be too safe with him, made him too generic on accident or something. But like this feels really good. Tatsumi feels great as a main character from the beginning.
Fuck yeah, I definitely like what we're seeing from his character so far as well. His motivations to take care of his little brother and sister, send them to college, keep them together. So wholesome. Love to see it. Not quite the same, but big FMA vibes for me. Just sibling shit. For sure. Can't wait to get more wholesome moments from Taro, Sachi, and of course, the best girl, Paiyun. You know what I'm saying?
Shark Princess?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Oh man. So the thing I like about Tatsumi is that they went with like a less is more kind of approach to it. So instead of like Demon Slayer's Taiyo, where like, oh hey, my entire family is killed, I need to protect this one last remnant of my family. They just literally said, hey, why would a character even want to do this, right? Like, why would they want to risk their lives for it? It's like, well, you could potentially, become a test subject, all this stuff, but like, we will make sure that your family's taken care of. And he's like, you know what? I was working a bunch of like part-time jobs doing, whatever, and trying to like figure out stuff. So like, why not?
Yeah. That was something that I really liked about it too, was that they spent a lot of time to like make sure that Tatsumi was like comfortable in his new living situation after they recruited him, right? Because like I feel like it'd be very easy, for you to add like a super shady element to this organization where it's like, you're an implantee, you have a lot of potential, we could use you over here. Fuck the family bullshit. Let's just get you to work right now. Get you, experimented on. Get you, in the field. You're our soldier now. And like that works, you know what I mean? But I'm glad that they didn't do it that way. You know what I mean? Because there's enough mystery, tied to the organization and Shiraku in general, just like already. You know what I mean? You don't need to add that. Are they a good guy? Are they a bad guy? Like, does this dude kind of suck? You know what I mean? Like kind of like vibe.
Yeah.
Like they clearly didn't need it and they didn't lean into that. It feels very wholesome in regard to like how they see Tatsumi, despite being a very clandestine, well-established secret organization. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that they didn't add the shady dynamic as well.
I sort of view it as it lends to the idea of like moral authority, where they're just like, hey, we are the people that are in charge of enforcing the rules and therefore should be held to like a higher standard of behavior, because we have the tools and ability to cause harm, right? And so I think that like them being very clean and on the up and up help lends to the idea of like being sheriff to like the wild west that is, the quadrant of Aliens area.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like the tools a lot. Like honestly, that's probably my favorite part because some of the series we talk about it, and like a rock can be a tool to kill, right? Anything can be a tool to kill. Sometimes the ability to kill something is really easy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because like if you take like not page 6, but like chapter 6, right?
Yeah.
Where they have Ninotachi, um, that's a beam weapon, right? Like a lightsaber. People have talked about lightsabers being like crazy and unethical, right? Because like it keeps someone alive, even though it inflicts horrible, shock-inducing pain by cauterizing the wound instantly.
Yeah.
Like, is that actually merciful? No, just blow up your enemy,
Yeah.
just melt them.
Yeah.
But like, I like the fact that they could like that like
Yo.
Shiraku's main thing is basically just a club, right?
Yeah.
He has his tool is the gravity manipulation, and that's just one tool. I think
That's
he has,
he has 3. He confirmed
they said that every agent should have 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested
So-
to see exactly like what that means. Like, why is it just 3? You know what I mean? Because I'm happy that they introduced a limit to the amount of tech that any character will usually have on them. You know what I mean? Because you don't want it to become a situation where the subversions in combat come from, oh, you didn't know I had this piece of tech like infinitely. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to
ad nauseum.
ad nauseum, just to continuously pull new things out of their Felix the Cat bag, like in combat. Like, you didn't know I had the light speed technology. You didn't know that I had the black hole technology. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely don't want it to just be like infinitely, used in that way, because then it's going to feel like, I'm not even going to say what it's going to feel like, but it's just not going to like feel. It's not going to feel good if that's the dynamic in the combat system. So it's cool that they're going out of their way very early in the series to say, yes, this technology is broken, but you usually only get 3 of them. And if they later on upgrade that to 4 or 5, that could be cool. But as long as it's not just big bag of tricks, like constantly having exactly what you need in any moment because it's sci-fi technology, then like I appreciate that. But I really want to know the reason why every person has 3. Is it because it takes too much of a toll on a human body to use that much alien technology for one reason or another? Or is that just like a carrying capacity thing? Or
it must either has to do, like you said, carrying capacity. Maybe there's a storage deck maximum. Maybe it's like a physical toll on the body, like you said. Maybe it's like a power output thing, because we're getting the charging aspect. Like they can only use each tech a certain number of times before they have to recharge that tech.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if each tech has an individual cooldown time or if it's just across the board. If you run out of power, you got to recharge your shit before you can use any of your tech.
Right.
All that is a factor, I feel like.
Yeah.
As far as why we only get 3, I feel like we'll learn it.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later. It feels like they're trying to offload a lot of this power system shit early.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel too dense. Like, it doesn't feel like they're giving us too much, like, too quickly. Like, they're peppering it in at a very good pace. You know what I mean? They're giving us the information that we want, but they're not giving us everything that we want right away. So I think that this dude's knows exactly what he's trying to do and is very confident about it, and you can feel it in the chapters that we have so far, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I just hope that they have like keep a tight rein on it, right?
Yeah.
Because some series we've seen series like really cool early concepts, and then they kind of power scale out of control,
Right.
and they're just like, I've written myself into a corner,
Yeah.
and now it feels like an ass pull every time.
Yeah. You look at Samurai 8, and it's like they fucking split a moon in half in like chapter 3, and it's like, oh my god, okay, wait a minute, relax.
All these people. Turns out the moon is made out of cheese, and it's very soft.
That's
the only explanation for why this guy isn't cut in half.
Oh no.
But I think that less is more is definitely going to be kind of the mantra in this series, because like I think like my personal theory for why there's only 3 items is because if they have any more, people with like tech that is on the lookout for like alien technology would be like, oh, I can see a dense cluster of alien tech, and like ping on like ambient radar or something like that, right?
Right.
Because this guy's an assassin. He's presumably got like 1 to 2, maybe 3 items, and it's like I think that 3 items is literally just a stealth thing, right?
That makes sense for an
like,
assassin,
yeah, or like any criminals, right? Because like like people have police scanners, so like why wouldn't aliens have things that like pick up high tech battery signatures,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
like dense things like, oh, I can sense enough power to power a ship. I need to get out of here,
Right,
like.
right. Yeah, and just like one more point on like why it's so cool that we got like a 3 piece of equipment limit like right away is because it lets
Mhm.
you know that Nabafusai probably has, the plan to go deeper into his power system, like rather than wider. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know about like Brandon Sanderson or whatever, he always says that it's always going to be better, for your audience if you're building a world and you don't go crazy with the concepts. You know what I mean? Like if you take, a couple of things and you explore them deeply, that's always going to be better for the audience than having, this wide sprawling list of things explored lightly or shallowly. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's just going to feel better. It's going to make it feel like more real, like the world is actually, living and breathing and whatnot. Because if it's just like, okay, concept over here, concept over there, and all of a sudden you don't know what to do with all of the concepts that you have and none of them are really explored too deeply, it's going to feel like really shallow. You know what I mean? And when you have a piece of equipment limit, then that lets me know that as the stakes raise and the fights get more complex and the villains get bigger and badder, we're going to see Nabafusai, getting really creative with the applications of that 3 equipment limit. It's like in what order you use them is that going to be effective in combat? You know what I mean? Like in what ways does one, affect the other? Like can you make them, reliant on each other in some kind of way as far as your like fighting style and dynamic goes, rather than just I got a new thing, I got
Well, I
another new
think
thing, here's a
I
fourth,
think
Yeah.
fifth new thing. Yeah.
I
How
think
do
the
you
potential for a
synergize?
diversity within the tech is like I said, deep,
Yeah.
deep. Because I mean, we get a couple even like tech types low key peppered in here in this newest chapter.
Yeah.
Um, Shiraku says that this dude is using a directional optical weapon
Yep.
and a shape memory optical weapon.
Yep.
So, are there different types of sensory specific weapons like optical, audio, like
Tactile.
that
Yeah.
attack different senses? And then like outside of the sensory weapons, like we see the gravity. That's not a sensory weapon. So like that's a concept of physics,
Yeah,
a
like
law
force
of
of
physics,
nature
a force of
manipulation.
nature. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So
Utility.
Yeah.
I feel like, and then there's got to be defensive ones as well. Like I feel like the potential for a diversity within this tech is fucking
Yeah.
so deep, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we're getting it peppered in now, but I feel like Shiraku, like I feel like it's going to be a little sooner rather than later that we at least get like the surface level dump,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then later on, obviously, there will be deeper nuances to the power system probably that get shown later on. But
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like if there's like, a certain kind of like boost that you get to your fighting style if you use your equipment in a certain order, or if you can combine them all together for like, a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers super weapon at the end of the episode to to shoot the bad guy and make them go into the big form before Rita Repulsa grows them and shit like that. When they're like all of our powers combined, like the big crossbow blade axe gun, you know what I mean? Like I wonder if we're going to see cool combinations of the 3 pieces of equipment, that people get. I think that
yeah,
that's kind of
Ooh.
obvious, you know what I mean? But like either way, like there's just like you were saying, there's just so much, depth that can come from, a very simple hard limit of 3. You know what I mean? Like three things can be combined in a lot of different ways to have like different effects if that's where they're going. And I really want to see if that's where they go.
I'm trying to see the shape memory optical fucking bow.
Yeah.
Motherfucker sniping out here with the motherfucking Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing that I noticed in like chapter 6, where Shiraku is just like, hey, Neotachi, keep track of his equipment, figure out how he operates it and how he's using it to understand their base functions. I think that once they defeat the assassin, they're gonna add that stuff, his equipment, to the arsenal. Maybe not right away. They might have to take time to study it, but I think they're
Yeah,
definitely
reverse
gonna add it.
engineer.
or just like jack it off him, right? Like, because he's like, if they just, he's either gonna kill them or they're gonna beat him, right?
Right, right.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel
I
like
mean,
they're
they,
gonna loot his stuff. Um, and I want to see like Tatsumi use this thing, and then also like the extendable arms and like pocket mirrors, right? I want to see him like whip out pocket mirrors and then do like strange cuts and like bounce the light and like bend the lightsaber at weird angles to like cause like a sweeping cuts.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking forward to, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to see more of Tatsumi's arm. You know what I mean? Like we've already seen it with the, you know, the pistol, Gomu Gomu no pistol and shit. We've seen that. And then in the other one it did get like a little bit more jagged and a little bit more crazy looking, but like I'm expecting just full range malleability inside of like the body horror of the arm. Like I want to see that shit get like big and thick and be a shield. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that shit like do everything that we expect it, you know, to do.
I feel like the potential for diversity on that side of the power system is also very, very fucking deep. Because I feel like that arm is just like adaptability.
Yeah,
almost,
yeah. The versatility is going to be off the charts for that, and I want to see other implantees right away.
Well, you wonder why. Like, obviously, you know,
they're rare.
You can pretty safely assume, being that he's the main character, you know, that his implant specifically is probably important, right? Or maybe on, you know, I don't want to say on a different level, but like of its own echelon, maybe I can say. You know, like the aliens wanted it back specifically when it's like, you put this bitch in me. Why what's up now? You want it back? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously they deemed it, you know, worthy enough to like pull back out of them. So that's just main MC-esque, you know, vibes. Like his implant's probably a specifically special one, you know, that we'll see a lot of like diverse abilities from. And like I said, I think it's almost the ability to just adapt to any situation almost.
Yeah, and that's gonna be fucking sick.
Because like we see it, you know, in the situation where he needs that couple extra feet, now it stretches like rubber.
Yep.
And in the situation against this lady's name,
Ninotachi?
Fujiko. In the situation against Fujiko where she's using her speed to flex on him, the arm turns into this situation where it's like hard, impossible to break out of, and like has many arms coming out of it. Like, okay, you try and escape this shit. It's like a net almost. It almost adapts to just whatever given situation he's in.
Right. And then depending on like how his like flight or fight response kind of reacts to the situation, the arm, you know, has a new function, you know what I mean? Which is going to be like really cool for the beginning while he's still, you know, kind of trying to learn how to control it and hone in on exactly like what shapes and forms the arm will take, letting it kind of be like a fight or flight thing to give us, you know, different versions of it early is a really good situation. And I love the dynamic between Shiraku and Tatsumi, like already, you know what I mean? Like I'm looking at page 18 in the newest chapter right now where you got, you know, what is it, Ninotachi, the
assassin?
Oh yeah, that's the assassin.
I don't think, is that his name or was that just his weapon?
I can't
remember.
Ninotachi,
the Twin Blade, was the name of the assassin.
Yep, Ninotachi, the Twin Blade, but that's not the name of the little shark princess girl.
Oh, that's Payun.
Payun, yeah. So like on page 18, Payun is like having like a fucking like panic attack, like scared as shit, like crying like giant fucking crocodile tears like all over the top of, you know, Tatsumi's head. And, you know, he looks like legitimately like stressed and worried, like I need to protect this girl. This girl means everything right now. And him and Shiraku are kind of like, you know, their wills are like already like kind of like aligned. Like they're on the same playing field, you know, like mentally, like already like inside of their relationship and their dynamic. There's already like unspoken, like, you know, shit going on where she's crying on top of him. Shiraku's back is to the camera, but you could tell that he feels the same way that Tatsumi feels. And he's like, watch the girl. And he's like, you got this. Like, that's it. That's the dialogue.
On page 17 on that bottom left panel, just to lend to what you're saying, like you see Shiraku kind of like as she, you know, he's Tatsumi's like, what a creep, and then fucking that whole sequence where she crawls up on top of his head as he comforts her. You know, Shiraku kind of like looks back and sees that resolve in
Yes.
Tatsumi's eyes there in that bottom left panel. So like,
Yes.
he's definitely with it. He's
Yeah.
with the shits.
Yeah. And
He
what
said it.
yeah.
And then he's the one that said, "Watch the girl. We finishing this motherfucker." And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
thinking,
what I said.
at first he said, "I'm finna arrest this." You know, I was just, like I said, I'm dovetailing. I'm
Oh,
trying to learn
sure,
what
sure,
you're
sure,
saying,
sure.
but I feel like now it's body bags. Like at first he's like, "I'm
Oh,
arresting
yeah.
this motherfucker." He's like, "Nah, now it's toe tags, motherfucker. You
Yeah.
leaving here in a sack."
Yeah, for sure. And it's just great how like differently it's represented for both personalities. You know what I mean? Like Tatsumi is, you know, not like he's a greenhorn obviously in this entire situation, and you can tell that that's stressing him out, just how little he understands, but how intensely he feels about the situation nonetheless. You know what I mean? And Shiraku has all of this, you know, experience and all of this
Yep.
confidence related to his experience, and then on the opposite end, Tatsumi is naive, compassionate, but determined. You know what I mean? And you could tell that he is already kind of like getting into his rhythm when it comes to this job. Like he doesn't have like the very early, you know, shonen main character naivety that like creates, you know, worried anxiety kind of like feeling where he's like, oh my god, this is too much for me, I'm like too new to this, and everything is like overwhelming and this is so crazy. Like you don't really get that from Tatsumi because he's used to, you know, kind of having to fight through that. Yeah, like he's used to having to like fight through those feelings for the sake of his siblings. You know what I mean? So you put him in this situation where a small child, you know, very reminiscent to his young siblings, is looking to him for comfort, and he's like, okay, I'm in this entirely new situation, and this shit is like a lot, and I'm very new to it, and this is crazy, but like I got to keep it together for the sake of the person that I'm protecting. And you can see this all communicated through, you know, just facial expressions in the art, and like very short, succinct, to the point, you know, dialogue that just communicates everything it needs to without saying too much. You know what I mean? Watch the girl. You got this. What a creep. Like we're not getting a whole lot of introspection, you know, introspective, like, you know, internal thinking, like dialogue bubbles from, you know, Tatsumi. That's like just run on words about how he feels about this situation. It's just very short and impactful. You know, it gives you just what you need for the scene, and it doesn't like kind of like try to overload you with the thoughts and feelings of the main character, because a lot of that is communicated just visually, which is really well done by Nabufusai, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a kind of like telling like moment in chapter 6 around page 14-15.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like their planet's already a colony, and they know that our mission is to end the royal line, prevent any attempts at revenge. And
yeah,
it's just like, your world's been colonized, right? And then this is the last, like, you know, native sovereign of that place, and they're literally just gonna wipe them out. They're gonna commit, you know, regicide. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like at least regicide, where it like kills off, you know, the main leadership to like take over a planet for their resources. So
right.
We've had the bug guy talking about quotas, abducting people. They talk about how implantees and humans are useful, and I think Shiraku basically probably had part of himself like implanted and then maybe harvested later as it developed, and that's why it looks vicious.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vicious scar where it's like more extracted about it, and they don't really care about whether he lives or dies.
Yeah.
So he may have been an implantee at one point. I think that's just kind of why, because like he has such a very like succinct way of speaking that I'm like, there's got to be like, I think there might be like a physiological reason, right, behind that. Unless it's just how the character's written. This is the first 6 chapters, so we're just kind of like putting those feelers out there.
Yeah, and I love this situation in chapter 6 where you have this new threat that came in that's obviously, you know, like the first real altercation that we're getting, because obviously the first alien that Shiraku flexed on was clearly a scrub. But even though he was a scrub, he still had really cool dialogue in chapter 2 where he was kind of like making fun of Shiraku's level of tech. You know what I mean? Despite Shiraku clearly being the much better combatant than the alien. You know what I mean? It lets us know that these aliens later on in the series are going to keep bringing in bigger and better technology, and our main squad is going to have to rely on, you know, their wit and cleverness and just overall like ingenuity when it comes to the shared technology that the protagonist and the antagonist are going to be using. You know what I mean? It's such a low level chapter 2 bad guy that inevitably did get flexed on low difficulty by Shiraku, is still going out of his way to kind of clown Shiraku for the level of, you know, tech that he has. That was like really exciting for me. But this situation here in chapter 6, where this assassin is coming in and he's on go right away, no games, and you could tell he's cold. You know what I mean? Like, you'd think that this would be a moment where they, you know, let the main character flex in some kind of like shonen main character moment, like Shiraku tussles with him for a little bit, and then all of a sudden the prodigious talent of the main character has to come out with his, you know, unique situation inside of the implantee stuff, comes in and, you know, kind of like, and that could still happen, you know, by the end of this fight or whatever, but it looks like, you know, they're just going to let Shiraku cook again. You know what I mean? And that feels like really good because you don't want to give the main character too much too early, especially in a situation that's trying to set up this grandiose intergalactic situation where everybody has wildly more experience than the main character. It's like you don't want to have him performing too well too early. Otherwise, it's going to feel like, you know, a little too campy, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the main character is gonna fucking
This dude is supposedly the best, you know, the best assassin in the galaxy.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can't
He's
have.
even almost caught Shiraku a couple times. Like, there's been some close calls with the beam and shit.
Yeah.
Like on page 7 of chapter 6. You know,
Yeah.
he gets, you know what I'm saying, the hair singed a little bit.
So yeah,
pretty close.
Yeah, so you can't have Tatsumi handle this. You know what I mean? At least I think that would be weird. You never know what's going to happen by the end of the conflict. You know what I mean? And Nabafusai, you know, will probably write the shit out of it no matter like what happens. Like if they did want to go that route and have Shiraku do, you know, his best and basically, you know, do 75% of the fight, and then Tatsumi comes in with his, you know, unique talent or whatever and finishes off the last 25% so that they can really establish the capability and the usefulness of implantees in the overarching grand scheme of things. They could definitely go that route, but I would prefer if, you know, Tatsumi is, you know, emotional rock for Payun, while Shiraku just flexes again, but this time against, you know, a wildly capable opponent instead of a scrub. I think that I'd like that situation a lot more.
Yeah. I think I would as well. I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think that Payun will temporarily be adopted with be living with Tatsumi because they're kids? That would probably put them at ease while they are, you know, trying to determine whether or not, you know, Tachi's like shit talking has real credence. Or
I could see that.
Just a method.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I just thought about a situation where like Shiraku is like dead to rights in the next chapter, and then Payun just activates, and there's this like suddenly this crazy power that comes out of this tiny shark girl. Yeah, like just on some, I don't even know, but like I'm just like picturing like the like what's the most least likely, like most unpredictable situation that can come from this. Payun like handles the assassin at the end of the conflict. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how that would look, but like I'm just picturing like oh no, the chips are down, what are we going to do? And then Payun going into like a huge like crazy, you know, cosmic horror shark mode and just bites this dude in half or some shit, like, you killed my family, you know, or something like that. And then we just have like, you know, Payun in the back pocket, like, you know, for like really like niche like moments of conflict or whatever, and or maybe they build her up into like an actual combatant in some regard, like later on down the series or something. But I just wanted to throw that out there just in case.
Kisame
you know,
type.
Yeah, type shit.
It would be really interesting because like with Nyame the butler, they are built for an aquatic setting. So it makes sense that if they, you know, are in like an aquatic, if they get like the terrain advantage, they might be able to like, I don't know, transform, unfold, whatever, metamorphosize.
Yeah.
I think Nyame the butler's gonna do the heroic get down, Mr. President kind of moment where he's gonna get chopped in half. It's like, please take care of the princess.
Oh no.
You know,
no, man, I want the butler around, bro.
Nope, he's gonna be a source of information. You gotta get rid of him, gotta play up the mystery and be like, all right, We're part of the government. We got a few contacts. We're basically a dead-end embassy job for the aliens' perspective. But you know what? We're gonna follow the proper channels. We're gonna get our information.
Yeah, I can actually like as much as I obviously wouldn't want the butler to die, I'm with Eagle in that regard, but like from a storytelling perspective, I do think that the butler is just a little bit too valuable in regards to like intergalactic politic exposition. You know what I mean? So it's like what's stopping, the next if he does survive or something, what's stopping like the next couple of chapters from just being like a massive info dump in relation to, Payun and her race and just like that area of the universe's politics and whatnot. You definitely want to like keep it as mysterious as you can for as long as you can while dangling, plot threads and like leaving breadcrumbs for, cathartic payoffs of this information later. So I can definitely see that. I think that would be a little macabre for the beginning of at least a weekly shonen jump series. Not to say that it can't happen because you got shit like Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen and whatnot that have been kind of like coming out in the last little while where they're like not afraid to like take it there. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel like that would be like such a good emotional gut punch to give early. Just to establish like just how real this shit can get. It's like as soon as you're emotionally attached to a certain character, that character can die. That would be a really good situation to create for the series to keep people on their toes, keep them biting them nails. So you never know. But I definitely don't want him to die.
For the sake of the plot, perish.
I feel like, and you want to know what? It's like, why hype up this, intergalactic assassin to this point if you're not going to have him catch at least one body before he's taken out? You know what I mean? And like, what body would that be? The octopus butler dude makes the most sense because obviously it's not going to be Shiraku or, Payun or Tatsumi. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want this cold-blooded world, cosmically renowned, assassin to like end up feeling like a dud who got no diffed.
Well, and it does make sense because he literally was talking shit like you're gonna fight me and protect them.
Yeah.
So, but he hasn't even like rang no shots over at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think as an assassin scumbag who was talking shit like that, he's gonna be firing shots at them while also fighting him.
Right.
He hasn't rang no shots their way, so
exactly.
It does make sense that eventually he's gonna be like, you thought this was just a 1v1.
Yeah.
Pop pop. And then he's like, oh shit, I can't get there. And the butler's like,
right. Yeah. And you can already hear it in his dialogue. Like their mother planet is already a colony and they know that. Our mission is to end the royal line to prevent any attempts at revenge. So we already know that these motherfuckers will do anything and everything to accomplish their goals, regardless of how like detestable the actions are. You know what I mean? So I definitely wouldn't put it past him, especially as an assassin, to not eventually do some underhanded shiesty shit like that. You know what I mean? And I feel like we get this kind of dialogue a lot. Like I was just reading Itsuwari Bito, and there was a situation where, a antagonist wiped out an entire village of people. And when they're like, why? They're like, because we don't want anyone, coming on some Kill Bill shit, like trying to get revenge for their dead parents and shit. Like, nah, we're killing the whole fucking town because we don't need the stress or the worry of knowing that any of these people are going to devote their lives to coming back and fucking us up. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they're on some shit like that, they would definitely hold a hostage, shoot at a baby, try to distract you in any kind of way to get the job done. So I feel like we will probably see what Mello brought up.
Yeah. And something I can't wait for, man, like just a shout out to the art in this series is like more of these pissed alien panels, bro.
Yeah, dude, wait, where is it?
On page 4.
On page 4 with the fucking steam and the veins. Like, okay.
Those holes.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's the thumbnail. I was like, right away, I was like, that's the thumbnail for the episode. It communicates so much, dude. And I love characters with like gambit eyes, with like the black corneas and the white pupils and shit. Like I love, is that the anatomy of the eye? Anyway.
Inverted sclera?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like just like that gambit, like eye effect, like always is like, I love this character at first sight.
Is the colored part, right?
Well,
the white iris.
Sclera.
Yeah, the pupil. I thought the pupil was. Oh wait, no. I think the pupil is the black dot.
The pupil is the black part in the middle. The iris is the colored part, and then I'm not sure what the outer part that's normally white is called.
Yeah, something, whatever. Y'all know what we talking about. Anyway, but yeah, that page turn was insane. He was just like pissed and determined and ready to fuck somebody up. Like you fucking pinched a nerve. Like you got under this dude's skin, and he's going to make you pay for it.
No, because I mean, he was just talking that good shit. He was talking sarcastic as fuck, like, "Oh, I'm ignorant. I don't know shit." He really don't know shit, but he about to learn some shit from you because I'm
Yeah.
gonna whip that ass.
Yes.
And which is why I'm curious to see how things develop with Mello's theory, only because I feel like that certain times he does speak in a succinct manner, but at other times he speaks in like a really roundabout manner and even sarcastic at times. Like,
Yeah.
he was talking to on page 9.
Yeah.
He was he was speaking kind of in a roundabout manner to Tatsumi about the gear. He's like, "Oh, you should know the enemy's gear. For example, each person has 3. He has a tube-like device, right?" He's like, "So what's that mean?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He uses that with optical equipment. So, and
The device is a clue to the equipment.
Yeah, he's trying to kind of lead him to the conclusion himself, speaking in a roundabout manner,
Right.
So,
yeah, leaving a lot of shit up to like
see
subtext.
if he is like an ex-implantee that got his implant taken out, or if he just received the scar in battle, or what the story is.
Yeah, Shiraku's super tight. He feels like a perfect combination of like Senku and Dr. Zeno from Dr. Stone. You know what I mean? Like he just feels like, he's got that like Senku kind of personality in like the way that he speaks and like his like visual mannerisms. You know what I mean? But then he also has like the position of Dr. Zeno as far as like experience and like lifetime in the organization kind of like aspect and whatnot. So it just feels really good in that way to me, especially like with Dr. Stone ending like recently or whatever. I'm like, oh no, I miss my people, and it's like, oh, I kind of feel them in this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I had anything else for Aliens Area though for this episode.
No, I think that's
about how the fight will end.
Oh, I mean, I think
Shiraku, I think Shiraku beats him, but I am kind of leaning more towards maybe the octopus guy taking an L here in the fight. Like, out there. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like you want to. Yeah, I mean, we already
you guys do make good arguments about him being a huge source of information as far as like exposition on how things work in terms of the grand scheme of the story.
Yeah,
that we shouldn't necessarily be getting so early.
Right.
And it makes sense in terms of the assassin being here, using the people that he's trying to protect as like collateral damage, to fuck with him in the fight.
Yeah,
he hasn't done any of that yet, so it makes sense that he's going to. And it would make perfect sense for the octopus to kind of go down in a sacrificial moment, and say like, make sure she's safe type shit. Like,
Yeah. As far as predictions go, I don't know. We could talk about like what we think Shiraku's new tech is, or the rest of his like tech kit is going to be, right? Because it's like he's already using gravity.
That one tech so far.
Yeah, we've only really seen him use like one kind of technology, and that's for gravity. So like that's like his movement ability. Clearly, is like he ups the gravity or lowers the gravity. I think he's really just lowering the gravity so far. Who knows if we'll see him like up the gravity in some kind of way? Maybe that's a completely different piece of tech that increases gravity. You could have
I think so.
Yeah, you could have a situation where it's like if this thing is, a locked on laser beam that tracks you, it's like how do you defend against that in a way that kind of like makes sense for the world? It's like he could up the gravity to like near black hole levels, like maybe not like create a black hole like in the room, obviously, because that would fuck everybody up, but like enough of a black hole effect to where the light can't escape from that point. So like it's going to be trying to chase Shiraku, but gets like attracted to the like intense gravity point from his technology that like emulates a black hole to some degree. You know what I mean? And that could be a way to kind of like dodge the homing, aspect of Nino Tachi's technology. But other than that,
I was just actually thinking that's funny that you said that, because like I was thinking maybe to counter his light and to further lend to like the kind of spatial, primordial force of nature, power. We could continue that power scheme inside of Shiraku with him getting like a black hole thing to counter the light.
But black hole is just so broken. Like that's too much too early.
This dude's like Gojo low key of the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. It reminds me of I'm thinking of something like Mirage from Apex Legends. right? Where he can like turn invisible, or he can like create like a holographic double, and then like
Ooh.
kind of temporarily be cloaked. Because I could imagine him using the like hologram temporary cloaking, turn off the gravity, use that to push off the ground, get behind him, turn the gravity back on, and then the marker shoots the real one
Yeah.
while Ninotachi's like distracted by the fake hologram.
And just so happens to be in the way of the
Yeah,
homing to the real Shiraku, and then
yeah. So
boom.
that's how
That'd be
I think.
tight. I'm not gonna hold you. Wait a
And
minute.
then and then if you don't use technology, you could do something like the idea of um, he waits for the attack and then activates gravity or deactivates gravity to rise or suddenly lower past the shot and then have it like shoot past him. I don't know.
Mm,
That's one of the things I was thinking about.
yeah, I like that.
Uh, I
Oh,
don't know.
and as far as what you said, Knox, about the gravity control, I do personally think that he can only lower gravity.
Yeah, with this specific piece
Or
of
bring it
tech.
to zero, because in chapter 2, when the tech is introduced, it's equipment 1, gravity field control 0G is what it says in the name of the tech. It's on page 15.
Hmm.
Yeah, equipment 1, gravity field control 0G release, and then he says specifically 0 gravity.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. He could have full gravity control, but it seems to me, based on the title of the tech, the
Yeah.
name of the tech, that it's 0 gravity control.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's fantasy, obviously it's fiction, so you could just say that like he controls gravity like in general, like with one piece of technology. It makes enough sense to say like
Yeah.
gravity is this tech, but also at the same time it's like it's a completely different situation to increase gravity than decrease it, I want to say. You know what I mean? So it also makes sense for that to be two completely different pieces of technology at the same time.
Yeah.
So like they could really go either way with it, and it would probably be fine. I think it feels better to have that be two completely different things if that's the way that they're going to go with it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Fuck, dude. If Shiraku's gonna be the Gojo of the series, like obviously you have to tread lightly with that kind of thing because you don't want the power situation to like get too crazy too fast. A lot of mangaka, in recent times have been showing that they know what to do with wildly overpowered characters. You know what I mean? So you have like Gojo, you have Sinbad, you have fucking Escanor, you know what I mean? Like all brilliantly handled,
Yeah.
wildly OP characters in like the contemporary manga landscape, at least in the last like 5 to 10 years. You know what I mean? So like I'm not really worried in that regard if they are going to make Shiraku wildly broken. But like I'm sitting here thinking like, man, what if they give him like light speed tech? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, would they though, since he already kind of has a movement ability from the zero gravity situation? Maybe that's like a one and done kind of thing. So you have to leave it as a trump card, one use, for the whole fight, you know what I mean? And maybe that's just like your back pocket, like I have to win, pull out all the stops, light speed, then what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Kind of situation. I could see it maybe being something like that. Because like Black Hole seems like really, really broken too, you know what I mean? And I feel like Shiraku is going to be the character that has all of that wildly broken stuff since he is in that like mentor, higher up, face of the organization kind of like role, you know what I mean? And then everybody else has like pretty broken things, but nothing really on like par with Shiraku. And then they have to use more like creativity and ingenuity, you know what I mean, to make those, smaller technologies feel on par, you know what I mean? But if you just want to give everything to fucking Shiraku, but then use him sparingly, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let him cook in the beginning, give him like 2 fights back to back, and then maybe Shiraku doesn't do anything for a while. You know what I mean? Or something like that,
There's
Yeah,
something like, hey man, I showed you the bits. I showed you how to do the beat. Like
Yeah.
you gotta show me your stuff.
Right.
And be like, put them in like challenging but testing things. Like, I'll save your ass, but like you're probably gonna get a couple arms broken. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be like, okay, now you've seen some things. I showed you, like, you saw some high level combat. Now you passed your little test. Now I'm saying, now you a beat cop. Now you go out with now you with Fujiko, go out in this little fucko investigation or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll probably get some shit similar to Jujutsu Kaisen, obviously. Like in the beginning portions of that, like shit popped off. Then we got Yuji with Gojo. Shit fucking went crazy. Yuki Tenkei, fucking. And
then he kind of just like
kinda
leads
ran
them to
down
the
into the fucking, like, what's the arc name when they go up against Toto and Squad?
Oh, the Sister Exchange
The
Festival
Sister
or whatever.
Exchange, yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
festival
The
arc, and then
school, yeah.
some actual with the students stuff instead of Gojo flexing, right?
Right, right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I could definitely see Shiraku doing a lot early and then taking a back seat to the side cast and Tatsumi, for a considerable amount of time after that before Shiraku has to come in again for, whatever reason way later. Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that the potential is crazy in Aliens area, and the execution so far feels very thorough, planned, and Nabafusai, seems very confident on what he's like delivering to us. You know what I mean? So like I have nothing but praise and excitement for this series so far, and I'm so happy it's on the show.
I'm right there with you.
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
solid so far.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
that's about all I had, I think, for Aliens area this week.
Yeah, I think I'm good too.
All right. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into chapter 78 of Sakamoto Days. Banished.
Fire.
Man, fire ass chapter.
So gas. Right away with the choreography too. You got Shishiba on some nut shit, bro. He is so funny, but so cool. Literally dodging automatic fire casually with a hammer while driving is just like so gangster. And then you turn the page and he fucking grabs the dude with the end of the hammer, pulls him over to his car, rolls the window up on his shirt and uses him as a human shield, and then bashes him into the enemy car that flies off into the distance to explode while the dude is just ragdoll flapping with blood flying. Toothpaste tubes him.
He was literally flapping after that, bro. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, insane.
Man, Nagumo's cold with the multi-tool, bro, but this dude, Shishiba, like, is literally using this hammer to its utmost fucking potential, bro.
Yes. My bad, I forgot to turn off my AC. Sorry about that, audience.
No worries.
Yeah.
This type of, like, utilitarian combat is par for the course, super par for the course in terms of like Sakamoto Days, but I just love to see, all the hilarious different shit he's pulling off with this fucking claw hammer. Yeah. Aside from, what you would imagine as its practical use, which is just like bashing someone's shit in, right?
Right.
Like,
very Hidoro.
Yes.
Like he's
yes.
just like using it to deflect bullets, fucking hook buddy's shirt, hang him on the window, fucking all kinds of crazy shit, bro.
Yeah,
I love that versatility. This chapter really makes me think about how the current order doesn't really use weapons per se. Like Nagumo has the multi-tool. In this form, it's like a supersized cardboard cutter. Osagiri, she uses saws. She uses chainsaws. She's using a fucking table saw at the end of this chapter. Like Shishiba, he uses a hammer. Whereas like the enemies of the order are using weapons, right? Like
real heavy duty hammers that the cheat codes get in Grand Theft Auto, heavy duty ammunition, and they're just flexing with like physical weapons.
It makes me think up with the Sansetsu cone, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was fire. That was fire too.
When he whipped out this fucking Sansetsu cone.
Yeah, the 3-section staff with the fucking like halberd on the end. Yeah,
I looked it up, and I guess Sansetsu cone is the Japanese name for it, and then Chinese, I don't know, is Sanjiegun or something like that.
Yeah.
It's probably pronounced differently. I'm probably butchering it, but Sanjiegun or Sansetsu cone. Is the name for the 3-section staff. I think the blades on the end is something imaginative for the manga, because most of the pictures I found of this weapon did not have a blade on the end. It seems impractical for its use. Like you would heighten the chance of injuring yourself by using it by, fucking a billion-fold. But in a manga, it's way cooler.
Yeah, it's okay. Right, because we know that they're going to be adept enough to not have to worry about that. We could literally, put Spinner's sword on the end of this thing and he'd be fine.
Bro, he fucking praying mantis that shit, bro. Yeah. Like, wow, fucking, yo.
I like the situation where we kind of deviate away from the main protagonist group that has a very clear, moral compass pointing in the direction of don't kill anyone. But the side characters just be massacring people, willy-nilly, and I feel like that's really important in a story about assassination, literally, you know what I mean? So you have to be able to like switch the perspective to people who really just don't care about that kind of thing, because that's where, you know, the tension and, you know, the real like nitty gritty vibe that you're supposed to get from an assassin manga can come from. So I'm glad that they regularly, you know, kind of like switch back and forth. And even when Sakamoto and the crew are like in the scene, other people are still killing people, and they're not like really going out of their way to save every single life because they know that they just can't. You know what I mean? So it's like we get enough of the, you know, shonen don't kill anybody, you know, kind of morality that we're used to, but it's also like pretty utilitarian at the end of the day, where it's like, hey, you can't save everybody, let's do the best we can, you know. And you know, if people gotta die, people gotta die, you know. You gotta break a couple eggs to make an omelet type shit.
Well, it was like 1 or 2 chapters ago. It was literally last chapter where this shit popped off. Shishiba's like, "Yo, like, don't get too flashy, bro." And he's like, "Don't worry, bro. I got a gold rank assassin license or whatever he said, class A, whatever he fucking said."
Yeah.
Basically, like, bro, you know, doesn't matter what kind of collateral damage happens here. Like, this shit gonna get covered up. I got a license to kill, bro. We're chilling.
Yeah, we're chilling. We're chilling. And there's just
vibing,
something.
bro.
There's just something about
Proceeds to
like.
cause hate.
Yeah, there's just something about like the character, you know, the kind of character where it's like ruthless killers doing like horrendous things, but having like a very jovial or like childish personality while they're doing it. So like Nagumo like really is just like one of my favorite kind of characters in a story like this, where someone can just casually lop some dude's head off with a smile and they're not necessarily a villain or an antagonist, because like you're used to that with like maniacal, you know, incorrigible villains that just like slaughter people willy-nilly. They usually be laughing and shit while they're doing that, but Nagumo is like effectively a protagonist, right? So it's like you know, it's just cool that you can just get that kind of personality for a
that
person
jovial,
in this.
aloof, kind of just
it's childish,
willy-nilly, just vibing,
childish. Yeah, like I just like that dynamic in
even
any
in
story.
combat. Like, we get these action panels of him clashing with what the fuck's this
Yotsumura.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I fucking was just struggling with that for a second.
It's all good.
When he's kind of having his little exchange with Yotsumura, like just the facial expressions we see from him are just like jovial, like we were talking about, like aloof, like he's not super serious, like he's just like
right. And it works because like we get that opposite personality right next to him with Shishiba. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it just feels good all the way around. We have every single kind of personality that you can expect we have every kind of personality that you can expect for a profession like this, and then some, you know what I mean? Like you got that boiled guy that was just like, you know, an anomaly of, you know, personalities, you know, inside of series like these. And then, you know, you have
Leon on Holiday.
Yeah, you have like the whole spectrum, you know.
You got the Yondere, the Tsundere with God, this girl's name's
Osaragi.
Natalie
Osaragi?
Yeah.
No, Goth Farm Girl?
Yeah, Goth Farm Girl.
Dude, no, she's crazy.
Saw yo-yo bitch, like, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, she's using a table saw.
I love it.
Where she stole a table saw, I have no idea.
And it's like not even plugged in a lot of the time. Like the fucking cord is like dangling from it. It's like it doesn't matter. Like she can create all of the spin that she needs, or all the momentum, or like whatever. Like that shit is still jagged. You know what I mean? It's going to do the damage it needs to, whether it's turned on or not. And that's just like so cool. And going back to the choreography, as soon as they encounter what's his name? Yotsumura. As soon as they encounter this dude, the speed of everything is so crazy. They're just like, oh, there he is. And then like the rest of the double page spread is him destroying the car, but then you turn the fucking page and they're already outside of it, on go, coming into this fucking like car hangar thing that he's like standing in front of, kicks the fucking car at him. Nagumo just like effortlessly like hops it like a fence, and then pulls out his multi-tool. They fucking clash. Another fucking car comes at him. And like ever since Axel pointed it out when he was talking about like, you know, choreography in Sakamoto Days being like very like, you know, inclusive of, you know, the environment and whatnot, it's like I just can't like stop like noticing it. Obviously it's like right there in your face, but before he said something I was just like, oh my god, you're totally right. That is something that absolutely sets it apart, and it's in every single fight Every
It's so
single fight.
cinematic.
Yeah.
It's so cinematic. I
Yeah.
absolutely adore the way they utilize fights. Like we had it during the school testing stuff, which was more like high-low, whereas this one is like in parallel. I loved fights like Mad Max Fury Road and stuff.
Yes.
I grew up on the old Mad Max movies too, so
Hell
like
yeah.
I really enjoy kind of that like car chase, cat and mouse kind of on the road, high speed,
Yeah.
high stakes kind of battle.
Who was the original Mad Max? Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit, dude, that dude's done everything back in the day. Fucking
And
Braveheart
the
and
bad
shit.
guy
Yeah.
from the first movie reprised the role of Immortan Joe in the original movie. So Toe Cutter
Oh, tight.
was Immortan Joe. He got cast as the old man.
Beautiful.
It's
Poetry.
a nice little nod.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, even when it's not the environment, real quick, even when it's not the environment and they're just throwing hands, like, you know, in close proximity, like, that shit is not, it's not like the gimmick is like environmental, you know, usage of the fighters. Like when there's no environment and they're just throwing hands, it's like very high level martial arts at all times. Like when you turn the page into 12 and Shishiba's right there with the edge of the fucking hammer and he fucking blocks it in like the perfect way to block something with this weapon. As soon as I seen that, I was like, yeah, this is dead serious. It's like, did Yuto Suzuki actually like train with one of these things, or has he just seen that many fucking kung fu movies and whatnot? Like, you never know, but it's just, I just remember turning the page and be like, that is so perfect. The block behind the back with the 3-sectional staff. It's like you can't wait to see that panel whenever someone with a 3-sectional staff is introduced in something. At least I can't. But yeah.
I adore that. I also liked on page 4 where Nagumo just uses multi-tool to push the car steering wheel into like the pylons.
Which page?
Page 4. He does a really simple thing.
Oh,
Stabs
yeah.
the arm and then just tilts the steering wheel, and I was like, I like that. That's,
Yes.
the very light touches of like, you know what, I don't actually kill you very hard.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense, you know what I mean? Because the car steering wheel is very sensitive, you know what I mean? Like you can make a very subtle move like that and have it cause like the exact kind of damage that it does, and that subtleness and the speed of the subtle movements like that having a big impact on the overarching fight is something that I feel like is like very like Sakamoto, you know what I mean? Like you see that like all the time. Yeah, you know, it's going to be something that kind of like defines the action in later years when all kinds of analysis has been done for Sakamoto Days. People will come back to like that point.
On page 5, the arriving at destination thing really made me chuckle when he crashed.
The
And
GPS.
then immediately transitioning into Yotsumura on 6, going on to like the double spread on 8 and 9 made me think of like having that initial like text of like arriving at destination, then having like the giant truck full of cars pull up and like the idea of danger being right behind it made me think of like Final Destination.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, for sure.
It was a weird like contextual sort of like stream for me, but I was like, you know what, this fits.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And Yuto Suzuki is so good with these like, you know, fucking page turn into new character threat and like just the eeriness and like the tension that comes with turning the page into like such a fucking like scary, you know, character design and like knowing that's like
Leatherface, bro?
yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to think. I turned and it was just so scary right away. I was like, oh shit. It's kind of like when we first met Gaku. It's when we first met Takamura, the old man with the fucking EI jutsu. Like all of those introductions have just been like, oh shit, who the fuck is that? In a chilling page turn, exactly. And it's just like, dude, you've got that down.
Yeah.
It very much reminds me of have either of you watched the movies like Old Boy or like Ichigeki?
I've seen Old Boy for sure. That shit is fucking brilliant.
Check out Ichigeki, content warning. It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's an older movie, but if you watch Old Boy and you're like, I could palate this.
Yeah.
You can probably watch Ichigeki. It's one of those like gory, horny, Hotline Miami type stories.
Sure.
It's one of those.
It's one of those like gratuitous, like excessive gore maybe.
It came out in like the 80s or 90s or something like that. in my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. For the
Yeah.
ones that are more, familiar with foreign films, please
Yeah.
let us know in the comments.
For sure.
But like the way they kind of like introduce Yotsumura and like the way they do fights makes me think of those films, right? Because
Yeah.
like if you look at like Yotsumura, he kind of looks like Old Boy without like the shaved with a shaved face,
Yeah, for
right? Like
sure. Wow.
just a bedraggled homeless man in a suit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No
just
The
like
tie.
only
No
dialogue.
tie. Blazer not buttoned up. Fucking 5 o'clock shadow. Just dirty looking dude, but with a suit. Yeah, absolutely. That's old boy as fuck. And I'm pretty sure old boy beat you with a hammer too, if I remember correctly.
yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yes, he
so
did.
it's like we got
So,
like all the pieces.
it's so many movies. Like,
Yeah.
if you ever seen Smoking Aces, like any of the Smoking Aces, a
Oh,
lot of
dude,
the
yeah.
assassin versus assassin fights
Yeah.
makes me think of that, and I'm
Fuck
like,
yeah.
this is a healthy combo. This is a healthy combo. This is good soup.
Hell yeah. What were you gonna say, Eagle? You've
Bruh.
been trying to jump in there.
I was just saying, like, bro, the only dialogue we get from this man is fucking 3 active members of the order. That's too many. And he just vamps. Like,
Yeah.
this dude pulls up, scraps like a motherfucker, and then just bounces, and like the whole time he doesn't say shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I love characters like that. It's like you're so
Hell yeah.
mysterious, but you've said everything you need to in such a short amount of time. You had your introduction, your impact, less is more, you bounce. And now we're like, when's the next time we're going to see that guy? You know what I mean? Like right away.
I mean, shit, I imagine it has to do with kind of the past ties. Like, he knows that they know. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, it's on site. It
Yeah.
ain't even no words, bro.
Right.
And I guess to lend to that even further, I am like really curious to see why, or to learn why Yotsumura was banished from the JAA. Like, I wonder if he committed some type of like unsanctioned killings or something to merit being banished, or if it's like the other side of that coin where it's like some underhanded kind of corruption.
Yeah.
Stinks of that, honestly, to me. Just a gut feeling. I don't really have
Right.
anything really to back that feeling up, but
Well,
it just feels like
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting that we have, you know, a dynamic like this because it's like the first place that my mind went with this guy. I was like, is he working with Slur or something? You know what I mean? Like former member of the Order who was banished from the JAA sounds like someone who would fit right in with Slur's team, but like he wasn't there when we got like, you know, the scene of Slur's team. You know what I mean? So like, and that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a part of the team. He could have just been away or something, and they don't have to mention him. You know what I mean? If he is a part of the team or whatever. But I think it would be a cooler situation if this was like an entirely new philosophy, different, you know, angle of, you know, the party system, you know what I mean, involved and whatnot. And it wasn't just Sakamura or Sakamoto team versus Slur team, but then you also got like whatever this dude's on, introducing like a new element to make things that much more complicated and layered.
Yeah.
Because you also have
And then,
Takamura
like-
too, and it's like, what's up with that motherfucker? That's like a good example of what I'm talking about too right now. So the more the merrier in that way, in my opinion. What were you saying, Mello?
Oh, I'm okay with having like this like fourth quadrociary like group appear, right? Because they were
Yeah.
talking, it's like, yeah, no, these guys are a little fancy compared to Slur.
Yeah,
You know, per preferences. So I kind of want to see what that's all about. Like I'm okay with having, you know, Sakamoto group, Slur group, Order, former in the form of Yotsumura, and like having a faction that is like, we're old school, but you know, we just didn't fit the system, and so we exist, right? Because like those are like the four options, right? Like you have the Order, you live within the system. You have Yotsumura, which is like you escape the system. You have Sakamoto, which is live outside of the system, and like the entire, you know, strata of what that entails. And then there's Slur, which is replace the system. Right?
Yeah.
Like those are the multiple stances around like the current JAA, JCC sort of hierarchy institutions.
Mhm.
And I'm really interested to see what that is. I want to see what motivates these people. I want to see what will drive them to attack the Order.
Yeah.
Blatantly, right away.
Yeah.
Because it's normally not stuff like money, but like we have motivations for Slayer. We don't have motivations for this new group of like former order members.
Right.
I wonder, you think they would keep a banished member's name on the leaderboard of the top 10 greatest shooters? Because I'm wondering if this is Sako or Seiko. Like, could this dude's name be Sako Yotsumura? And he's the number 5 dude that we got in chapter 75. We
75, okay.
On whose name is this on the 5th spot?
Oh, I thought it was Heisuke.
Yeah.
No, that was number 1.
Yeah, Heisuke was 1.
No name given. Number 5, we were speculating like is a name we don't know.
You said this was chapter 75?
Chapter 75, page 11. Right after Sakamoto, you know, the teacher's like talking shit, like, yeah, you're a girl, you can't shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then he pops off.
Yeah.
The number 5 name is Sako. And yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No name given. That's Heisuke. Sakamoto 2, Akao 3, Nagumo 4, Sako 5. Yeah, maybe.
Sako Yotsumura.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be cool.
It would be a cool little bit of foreshadowing to look back at, like, oh shit, this is the dude we just seen.
Yeah, but he's also like doesn't seem like a shooter. I guess you don't necessarily need to be a shooter to be on this list because like neither is Nagumo.
I mean, shit, Sakamoto's clearly a shooter, but he'll also whoop your ass with a pencil. So.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, I don't think. I don't think that weapon of choice is like a very good, you know, metric to kind of like use for judging this situation in chapter 75. So yeah, it definitely could be Sako, or I mean, it definitely could be Yotsumura. That is Sako, and I think that would be cool. Do I think that that's what's going on? Not necessarily, but I'm ready to get my expectations shattered.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
I just thought back to it and I was like, that'd be cool if we got that little breadcrumb just ahead of time.
Like, yeah, that would be super tight.
Because we did pick up on it. We were like, who the fuck is this? And then all of a sudden we get this dude showing up with the motherfucking Sansetsu. What the fuck was it?
Sansetsu-kun.
Sansetsu-kun.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Sansetsu Kai, but
yeah. I don't know, but a lot of really cool things happening in Sakamoto right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really had anything else for this chapter, though, to be honest.
I think I'm good, too.
Other than, I guess, how the fuck is this dude's hat staying on? Because it's not even really a hat. It's, like, not even a bucket hat. It's literally just a fucking flap.
It's like a fishing cap.
It's not even that. It's, like, not even a straw hat, like a rice.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it has very much definition at all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it literally looks like I thought it was a mask. On his introductory page, like
right,
he's like hanging his head low. I'm like, Leatherface, bro, like you wearing a fucking mask over here.
Yeah,
and then it was like a little bucket hat type beat, but not either.
Yeah, it seems very flimsy.
That shit's not about to stay on the highway on an open ass truck.
That's just how cold dude is. You know what I'm saying? That's just how tight my man's is.
He got that TI tape beat. Put a little super glue around the brim of the hat.
Oh man. I remember thinking too, I'm like, dude, how is this hat staying on this man's head?
Bro,
like,
he's like got it on like
this, and he's literally
wilding, bro. And the video's going crazy.
It's like hanging from his ear perfectly. He's just like got like the balance of a god. Like, what is going on?
He's got an Alice band with a Velcro strip glued on top.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They got to do a billion takes in the video because he wants to rock his head, but it keeps falling off. But he's got the aesthetic that it never falls off.
Yeah, like maintain the mystery. Oh man, or the illusion rather. But yeah. But yeah, I'm good on Sakamoto this week.
Same. Or they just have him bob his head one way.
Yeah.
Hat flies off. They cut. You know what I'm saying? Have him bob his head the other way, hat flies off, and then they just loop that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Cut it together and loop that bitch. He's not even
right before it flies off. Just like perfect editing. Yeah, that'd be funny as shit.
All right, I'm sorry. That was a little tangential. But anyways, that's it for Sakamoto this week. All righty. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and move right into chapter 137 of Mission Yozakura Family. Apology video.
Jesus Christ. Gondira just keeps serving the Momo shit, and it's always just so potent every time. And it's like it never feels redundant. You know what I mean? Like he's acting like the same as he always has, but they always give us something extra on top of like what we've already seen that's familiar. Like this fucking page turned into 3. It's like that's a new scary fucking Momo drawing.
That panel of Momo saying he would kill the fucking organization on page 3 was literally like spine chilling art. That was so fucking good. It literally perfectly conveys the like absolute unhinged malice and insanity coming through every fiber of Momo's being in that moment, right?
Yes.
And it like that was just so well done by Gondara, man. I can't even just appreciate and commend that enough. That fucking drawing, bro.
The super high contrast stark whites and like the super scribbly line work and like the fucking black hole, like, you know, scribbly, you know, going out from the black hole eyes. Like all of that shit just like makes it that much more like, oh god.
I was kind of tight about it because like I was kind of tight about it because like obviously I react to the chapters and the format of it is kind of like the double page on the Viz website unless you set it to the single page.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even really get the turn page from 2 into 3 because that panel just stands out so fucking much that like as soon as I turned from 1 onto that kind of 2 and 3, my eyes just went right to that and I was like, yo, oh my god, but like I didn't really get, you know, that dialogue transition. I just like got that fucking shock and awe
right there in your face
on the pan. I was
out the peripheral.
Jesus, that man.
So I think this is just the continued like slow rapid reveal and decay of like Momo's insanity, right? Because we talked about it where like he's lashing out at the world but then also like condemning the world, right? And then he's like, no, these people are safe, so like he went from like the world, like he's like, I'm gonna kill random strangers, I'm gonna kill all these civilians near these spy networks, I've been killing spies. Now he's focusing for the gold member spies. And then he's always like, it's us, you know, it's us, the Yozakura versus the world. And now with this video, he's like, oh no, I'm me. He's like, in his way of like defending them, he's still like, you know, placing himself separate from his family. So I expect him to eventually, after the gold ranks are diminished, he's going to turn on his family, right? Because in his mind, he has finally like separated himself from the family, right? As opposed to being something like, oh, I want to be part of the family, I want to be part of the family, I want to be part of the family. He's like, no, you're punishing them. And it's like he's being gracious about it. It's like, no, please punish me, not my thing. But at the same time, as soon as he says that, if anyone gets in my way, I will fucking eviscerate them, I will kill them all.
Right.
Like, but he's still saying like that separate thing. So I feel like that is like, I would say it's a foreshadowing moment.
Yeah.
Right? To be like, hey, he's going to eventually turn on the family as a whole.
Yeah, and like to what you're saying right now, that's one of the more interesting things about Momo is that he kind of like has been turning on his family like the entire time. Like there's this huge like contradiction in his like outlook and like what and his actions where he's like, everything I do is for my family, but and like ever since we got the reveal of his entire plan and what he's been doing, he's been attacking his family in one way or another. You know what I mean? Like you have the original time that this giant, you know, plant blob thing that he calls his brothers and whatnot. Like the Cherry Bros. Yeah, the Cherry Bros. Like they literally like just came out of a fight with those, and he literally sicked them on the Yozakura family. And then like this situation right now, he's like, I'm going to attack the gold rank spies. Multiple gold rank spies are his family members. You know what I mean? So he's like constantly contradicting himself as far as like wanting to love and protect and do things for his family, but then also immediately putting them in danger like right after. So like it's really interesting and crazy in that way.
Plus, like, how affectionate he is. Like, no one can harm my little brothers. But then he instantly weaponizes 3 of them into that exploding ball. And I'm just like, giant harm is being exploded into shrapnel, like, not harmful for these things.
Right. He's just a fucking maniac, man. And I like how we're getting like more information on like how these cherry brother, plant blobs kind of like work. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I forgot what the name was for him.
Me too. I'm trying to like.
All the, like the dark cherry things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the actual like I don't know. I can't remember the proper name.
Yeah, I think Mello is saying it. Yeah, it's like dark cherry something.
It's the dark cherry something, but I don't know.
Either way,
like Japanese pronunciation.
The dark cherry somethings of the Northampton dark cherry somethings.
Yeah. I don't remember a Japanese name for them, but we could probably just go back and find it if we wanted to. If not, let us know in the comments section, obviously. But it's interesting that we're getting more information about what they can do and like what powers and capabilities that they have, because they can clearly imitate voice. They can just outright shapeshift into other people after like sucking on them for a little bit, I want to say, right? So it's like like
absorb their bodies and identities,
etc. That's really interesting, to get for these things, because I totally thought like with their initial introduction that they were just exactly what they were introduced as, you know what I mean? And like that was like already like kind of enough for the concept, but then to like then go deeper into that and be like, no, these things can imitate people, and it's like, oh my god, that's that much more scary of a situation, and like that much, it adds that much more stakes to the situation, because now it's like, secret invasion in Marvel Comics with scrolls, you know what I mean? Like you don't know who's an enemy, you don't know who's an ally. How do you find out without like, bringing the wrong kind of attention, to a certain area, which they're clearly trying to avoid in this chapter. So it's just like, what are they going to do? I have no idea how this is going to go like at all after this, and I love that feeling,
Sakuranbo.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There was a Japanese name for it. Sakuranbo.
Chapter 134. Anyways, just to lend further, like, these Sakuranbo, these dark cherry brothers are like just mad versatile. Like, it's disgusting how versatile they are. The high combat ability, the durability, the regenerative properties, the symbiotic fucking mimicry,
Shit, it's more parasitic than anything. That shit does not give a fuck about the original person at all.
That is not benign.
Yeah.
On top of that, like they can condense themselves apparently down to like just a pure feminine energy bomb. You know,
that's nuts.
Like it's wild. That's wild. Yeah. Love the Sakuranbo, man.
Yeah, dude, this shit's fucking sick. And the gold rank spies. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say another thing, and I like kind of a little breadcrumb we got this chapter, or somebody pointed out to me that it seemed like Momo had kind of a double entendre here that gave us a little bit more like direct foreshadowing to the shadowy figure that is presumably the same person Kyoichiro referred to. I don't know, maybe an arc or two back in a just chapter offhandedly about somebody trying to hurt the Yozakura family.
What page?
This shadowy figure on the page 4. He's just like in the chair, right? When Momo says, they've always been around, fools who feel compelled to interfere with us. I bet, and he's talking to the gold rank spies at this moment, but somebody was kind of speculating that it was a double entendre as well, because he said, I bet you think that even now, at this very moment, you're watching me from total safety. And it's this dark figure watching Momo on the screen in a chair, but you're not. I'm watching you too. I was reborn that day. There's no safety for any of you, not anymore.
Oh, so you're saying that like Momo is talking to the gold rank spies, saying, "I bet you think," but then also this shadowy figure is looking at Momo, effectively like mirroring,
so not necessarily a double entendre, because that kind of has a different meaning, but you know what I mean. You're picking up.
For sure.
My hypothesis is that the shadowy figure is Cyber Demon Lord G.
Oh wait, what's that from? I feel like I vaguely remember that.
He's the guy on the tablet, right? He's
the only
rank assassin that isn't physically there.
Yeah.
And if he's like a security genius, he would be the ideal target to focus on, because then if Momo kills him and G is connected, he has access to the gold rank members, security access. He can mess around with cameras. He can mess around with comms even more than he has with, infiltrating things. They might be like, okay, hey, we can get these things. And G's like, okay, I've got locations for this place and this place and this place. And they do that. And then he's like, is there any other places? Like, no, you're clear for that. And it's like, no, you only hit like half of them.
Yeah.
and then it blows up anyway. And also the fact that like he's like, yeah, no, I've planted things all over the complex. The complex spans the entire city.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy information to get. So it's like, oh my god, even though you're trying to keep this like close to the chest inside of the organization and deal with it internally, the architecture of your base immediately puts the entire city in danger because it's in such
giant crater.
It's in such close proximity to it, right? And it's like that was crazy information to get.
I'm waiting for a giant crater thing, like when the ants attacked in Kaiju number 8, you know, where like things just sink all of a sudden, or it'd be like in Futurama, right, where if they blew up New York so that New York could collapse underneath, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm imagining that's a lot, because then they'd be like, what, this isn't a subway tunnel, this isn't, you know, a sewage area, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And then would the spy organization have to focus a bunch of resources to control the information, bribe people, take care of people, like get rid of like damage control, information control, and then leave Momo more free to act as he pleases?
Yeah.
He said that it took how many hours for it to transform, that the bombs would go off in a second?
An hour, right?
An hour. So like they said they're gonna catch him not in 30 days, but 3 days, and now he's giving them, you know, hours.
Yeah.
Not even, maybe an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, shit's wild.
Maybe less.
Yeah, maybe
because
less.
They don't know, because he says like by the time this video reaches you, I'll have already placed things in place.
Right.
Put things in place.
Well, got at the end of the chapter, we've got 57 minutes left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It does say that. Okay. Yeah. Less than an hour. Yep. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I keep looking at this fucking panel on page 4, man. Ever since Eagle brought me back to it, and this dude in the chair is just drawn so. Dude, Hitsujigo and Daira's like got like the ominous like mystery art like down. Like if you look at this fucking panel, bro, like you have the chair. Obviously got the stark blacks in the background, like where the light doesn't hit it, but then with, you know, the light gray like screen tone accents on it, and then going into the actual light source behind the dark figure, and you have this like crosshatch like white pen, you know, inside of like the stark black silhouette with the screen tone glow around it, you know what I mean? And then like the straight line shading on the computer in front of them and whatnot with just the stark black background. It's just like, who is this guy and why am I so afraid of him? Like right away, as soon as you turn the page, it's just like, damn. And then you get that same like kind of like crosshatchy white pen, maybe screen tone, you know, effect coming in, you know, or in that bottom left panel next to the bottom right Momo panel that like kind of like also tricks you and makes you think like, wait a minute, is this Momo? Or no, this is a completely different guy. Is it? But it's just like coming so close together that it's just like, what is the situation here? But I like what Mello was saying about how it's the guy on the iPad.
Yeah.
That's not really there. I think that would be like really cool if that would. Yeah.
I agree. That'd be a cool answer to our kind of question here.
Yeah.
That would and like Mello was saying, yeah, if he kills Cyberlord G or whatever, then he's got access to his database, a lot of the you know, the association's just security protocol and probably stuff like that. So
right. Yeah, like what if Momo is saying what he's saying to all of the gold rank spies, but then hidden inside of that he's specifically talking to, you know, Demon Lord Cyberspace G or whatever the fuck his name is, and he's actually like at this motherfucker's crib right now or some shit, like he's like about to activate on him, like
I could see that.
Yeah.
Breathes on the back of his neck.
Yeah, like
the end of the video.
I was talking to you actually when I said that shit. Because you're the one that's the trickiest to get, so I came to you first, like type shit. You're not safe because you're behind that iPad.
I feel like it would be like that moment in Hunter x Hunter where like the York new bosses have the meeting, and then you notice that Illumi's like stuck pins in them to like make them look like they're alive.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for moments like that, but with like the Sakuranbo Cherry Bros.
Oh man, you're totally right. We could definitely get some shit like that. God, that'd be so hectic. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, this is a really cool one. It means a lot. There's one thing that kind of reinforces what we talked about earlier about like how, you know, Momo's targeting the Spy Association, but indirectly he keeps targeting, you know, his family, right? Because he talks about like how, like, first he talks about like page 5. Now then, I have a zero tolerance for anyone who dares mess with my little brothers. And then, as punishment for the Spy Association daring to try the Yozakura family, I've set these all up through your headquarters, which doesn't endear him. And then finally, he, you know, snubs them all, including his children, saying, I have to wonder, will mere gold rank spies have what it takes to handle them?
Yeah, that was a crazy line of dialogue.
It's like, bro,
like, so
almost
disrespectful.
all your kids are gold rank.
Right.
And on page 9, the person in the sleeping bag, you see them smirk. It's the first facial expression we've seen out of them the entire time.
Yeah.
Are you talking that good shit? Huh?
Yeah, they're about to activate for sure. I can't wait.
The sleeping bag bitch is about to turn the fuck
Yes, oh my god, I can't wait to see some LaRue from Tower of God shit. Like, just gets up and just has like some kind of crazy energy wave attack. I don't obviously that would be like a little bit too close to LaRue if they, you know, had Shinsu wave controller beams or whatever, but yeah, whatever they got is about to be fucking drastic. I cannot fucking wait for that shit.
Yeah. That row of panels of the spies' reactions, man, to
that. It says so much with so little.
And then the next panel, and Tayo just feels their like malice and will, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And it's like mere gold rank spies. Mm-hmm.
Wait, where's the Tayo reaction? Oh wait,
page 10.
Bottom left, page 10.
Oh, I thought that was. Oh, okay, yeah. Yep. And that is him reacting to the vibe of it. Yeah, at first I was like, wait, isn't he reacting to the explosion? But then I see the bottom left panel, and it's a new reaction after the explosion, which is clearly coming from the gold rank spies aura.
Said, boy, this shit got tense in here.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, these guys are it's about to get dangerous.
Kyoichiro said, I'm about to slice him limb from limb. I like Ryu, though. What a coincidence. I was just thinking he deserved some love, too.
Yes.
Said, I'm about to put the pause on this man, boy.
Love it. Can't wait for it. This is like, I haven't felt this, like, ready for the, like, next chapter's conflict since, like, the front lines arc. This, like, feels very, you know, structured, like, similarly to the front lines as far as, like, large-scale action across the entire cast involved.
Yeah,
I think this will be cool because it'll really display like the spy associations, not like their deadliness, like we'll get that for sure when they fight, but like how do they problem solve and like how adept are they at gathering information and acting on it?
Yeah.
Which is the parts that I'm really looking forward to.
Same.
Like you get like the, you know, they're pulling back the wit curtain, right? You're getting to see the man behind the curtain and see how the spy organization works. Like you're seeing the raw underbelly. We're getting the big zoom in. We're going full Osmosis Jones up in here.
Osmosis Jones, yo.
You know, it's like I'm ready for that.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah.
Trending big bounties.
I was literally just looking at this right now on this giant like iPhone display on this last page.
Monthly reward rankings. I'm waiting for like the giant iPhone display to get hacked once Cyberlord Demon G gets iced, and then like Momo does something to like put on some bounties on some of the gold members to like get the you know get the fodder to like get in the way.
I could totally see that, right? Like they fucking like handle the bomb plot, you know, like they effectively just like no diff or low diff that shit. And like, haha, gold rank, what's cracking? And then boom, all of the displays are taken over by Momo, you know, with Cyberlord G's technology. Like, oh, okay, you thought you had me. Well, now I'm here to say you all got bounties on you. Everybody kill these gold ring spies. I got $1 billion for blah, 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 or whatever the fuck it would be, whatever kind of crazy villain message it would be. I could totally see that happening. That would be nuts.
First off, your man's is out of here.
I killed him.
Demon G, body bag. He's done. He's dead.
Gabby.
Hijacked his tech, right? Hijacked the system. Now you fucked.
The system.
Here's the system. Here's your boundaries.
I mean,
Momo just turns into like a flapper New Yorker from 1920 for this message.
Here's your fucking bounties. Now, good luck. You're not gonna stop me, you fucking mokes.
I love that. It's hilarious. Yeah, man. I don't know if I have anything.
That's about all I had for Yozakura.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I think I'm good on Yozakura this week. Beautiful chapter, obviously set up for the coming conflicts, which we can't wait to see. And I know next chapter's about to be bussin'.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. I guess the last thing I had to say is that I just love the developments, man. Got so hyped seeing all the gold ranks get fired up.
Yes.
To shut Momo up, and I can't wait to see them all working in unison to kind of solve this bomb plot. Give me all the Ryu shit. I want all the Shura shit, man. Yeah. And the sleeping bag chick too, man.
That's where my stocks are. That's literally where my stocks are. Is in the sleeping bag person, and then this like wait, why am I
Child Emperor Shura?
No, yeah, the Futaba like parallel character. Yeah. My stocks are in her and sleeping bag lady. Let's go. Can't wait for it. And I feel like we got just enough of them in the pregame. Like we saw enough of their personalities. Obviously, there are some characters that have been left mysterious because it's going to be a lot more hype to like get their characters like in the conflict that we're about to go into. But who we did see, Ryu, what's her name, Shura.
Shura,
yeah. Everybody that did get dialogue has shown definitely enough about them for us to be excited for what they're about to do, and then the rest will obviously activate when they do, and everything's just gonna feel so good, and I love it, and I'm done.
Pantsuit bitch, like what's she doing? She ain't going to the tunnel. She just like lady in the chair. She's the parallel to Mutsumi. Like she's the commander. She's in the background.
But she's still gonna have shit. Like she's still gonna have. She's still gonna have facilities. Like she's going to activate during all of this as well. Yeah, exactly. Like she's going to do crazy shit, and I can't wait for that too. But I definitely do feel the Mutsumi parallel in her too. Yeah.
But anyways, like that's it for Yozakura, really.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and get into the final chapter for the night tonight. Chapter 190 of Jujutsu Kaisen, Tokyo number 2 Colony, Part 9. And man, this chapter was a motherfucking banger, bruh.
Oh yeah.
First off, Panda's still out here, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Panda is still out here. I love to see that.
Super sad though that he lost the siblings, man.
Yeah.
And I wonder how, like, Nox, you've kind of talked. I feel like you've touched on this in a couple of the past reviews that we've had since we've seen what happened to him.
Yeah.
I wonder how this is going to affect his ability to like remain sentient with like free thought and will.
Yeah.
As like the 3 souls thing was stated by Yaga.
Yeah.
To have been like the main catalyst behind that.
Right. And now there's only one, soul in the doll, so I feel like the sentience and the cognizance will start to deteriorate.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really hope we don't have to say goodbye to fucking Panda, man. He's been one of my favorite fucking characters since literally the panel he was introduced. Like literally the moment like when he was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? This is Kugisaki. You know what I'm saying? Nobara.
Mm-hmm.
This is Megumi. Or no, he was like, no, it was when he introduced Maki and them. And it was just Panda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
just
he was
Panda.
Like,
yeah.
Ever since that panel, man, I've loved fucking Panda the whole time, man.
Yeah, it's really sad. But I think that's like kind of like what has to happen, because why would Yaga go out of his way to give that exposition to us in that conversation with oh my god, what's the lazy swordsman's name? Fuck, he's got a volume cover and everything. Trenchcoat swordsman dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Why am I blanking on that?
He's like, one of the family heads, right?
No.
He barely has any lines. No. He barely does anything. He's like, oh, I'm worried. I'm going to stick with Panda. And then...
Oh my god, I'm like so angry right now. Hold on one second. Swordsman.
I think that there's going to be a difference in what happens, because we were talking about how the 3 souls are used to catalyze, like kickstart the thing and then develop balance, but it's been going on for a while, so like maybe Panda's consciousness is enough to do it. It just won't have access to those extra forms, and like this is just raw, vulnerable, single soul Panda with like the equivalent power of a standard corpse doll.
Right, and the name is Kusakabe for the character that for some reason I could not fucking remember. But yeah, you have a good point though, Mello, right? Because it's like, yes, Yaga did have that conversation with Kusakabe and made a point to say, yeah, I put your nephew's soul in this doll, but without, the three soul system creating the equilibrium to continue the sentience long term, he's eventually just going to deteriorate into a mindless doll. Is what he said to him or whatever. And so that makes me think, yes, now that the other two souls are gone, it doesn't have that three soul system keeping the wheels spinning in the way that Yaga originally explained. But you saying that Panda has been in that state for such a long period of time that he could be strong enough on his own now to continue just being Panda indefinitely, until he's like mortally wounded or something like that. I think that feels fine too. Like if that explanation came out eventually, that would be cool. But just based on the information that we have so far and just the history of Jujutsu Kaisen storytelling, I want to say that, yeah, we're happy that Panda seems to have survived, but then later writing is going to come in, maybe his dialogue starts to deteriorate, or something like that. And then we get like superimposed, narration or maybe a character speaking on it like, oh man, Panda's losing it because he lost his fucking sibling souls. You know what I mean? Like I could totally see him just tapering in that way to just mindless doll stage.
Yeah.
Which would be so sad, but...
Well, it could lead to the idea, because I know we touched on it last episode, where we were talking about, like, could he have substitute cores, right? Because there are, like... We've seen curses regenerate from damage before their core is destroyed. Like the main part of their body, like when like things are.
Panda just did that.
Yeah,
yeah.
And Panda just did that. So like, is there a moment where like Panda will eat the cores of defeated cursed spirits and like try to like build up a stockpile, but it's not like stable in that same way. It's too much, excess malice that he doesn't quite digest. And maybe
wait a minute, cores and cursed spirits? I thought that cursed spirits was either you do enough cursed energy damage to them to where their HP just goes to 0 and they're exercised, or you crush the head.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But like there's gotta be
cores for cursed spirits.
Because there's like cores for like the cursed dolls and stuff.
Yeah.
And like we've seen curses and we've seen Hikari, right? Like use the binding vow to like localize damage. And we've seen curses take like limb damage and then regenerate it. So like even though they haven't like specifically stated that there's a core, there seems to be one, and at least it should be in the head.
Oh, sure.
So I wonder if like Panda's gonna like cannibalize like cursed spirits' heads to like gain a bit of power, but then like it's gonna be long term, not that good for him, potential corruption, etc.
That would be a wild direction to take Panda's character. I just can't like see him doing that just to survive based on the character that we've kind of gotten so far. I feel like it just makes a little bit more sense in Jujutsu Kaisen for him to just either what you said, explanation comes out that he's been in that like triple soul equilibrium for so long that he can maintain his sentience indefinitely even without the siblings, or he literally just dies, because that's kind of like what's been set up with the Yaga dialogue.
Just becomes a feral panda,
or something like that. But
when
like
all of a sudden he's just like
and it's like, Panda, what's gotten into you? And he's just like, it's like, that's not the usual Panda response.
What if his prologue is he gets donated to a zoo?
Oh,
and they're like, sorry, buddy, you lost sentience. You're basically an animal.
Oh my god, that would suck.
What do we do with him? And it's just like, well,
I'd rather see him dead.
Put him.
I fucking know.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see him go to a zoo, dude. Fucking zoos are fucked up.
Zoos suck, bro.
Yeah.
I chose the fate worse than death. In a zoo.
Yeah, no, that'd be a fucking wild. But
I was like, it'd be kind of sad. A zoo.
Yeah.
For certain species, and pandas being one of them, zoos are good for conservation in some ways, but they're depressing as fuck.
For sure, for sure. Let's talk about like the absolute dread that this chapter delivered in its first couple of pages with Panda finding a severed hand on the ground, because like we've been talking like, you know, everybody's been talking back and forth like who is going to win this fight. It's Jujutsu Kaisen, so like we can be pretty sure that one of them is going to die by the end, because Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't really, you know, pull any punches in regard to like character deaths and like significant character deaths. Like anybody can go at any time. Like it kind of feels like The Walking Dead or like Game of Thrones in that kind of way, as far as like the stakes go and the uncertainty goes inside of Jujutsu Kaisen. So everybody's just positive that, or a lot of people are positive that one of these combatants is going to die, you know what I mean? And there's logic on both sides. So to see this severed hand and Panda like, oh my god, no, you ask yourself, whose fucking hand is it? Who died? And then you turn the page and Kashimo gets up and is alive, and you're like, no, Hikari, and then just subversion, you know, a subversion of expectations back and forth, like all the way until Hikari just steals off this man in the page turn going into 4. And you're like, why? How? And I was like so ready for it to be akin to the explanation that, you know, Eagle predicted in like one of the last reviews that we did for Jujutsu Kaisen, where the technique came into play. I think we were talking about how the doors were like silver, bronze, and gold, but like they're not actually silver, bronze, and gold actually, because like you look into it and like the doors are actually like green, like orange and gold or something. Yeah. And so like that's, but like one of them was still gold, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure. And like gold is a conductor too, you know what I mean? Like it could have worked maybe, I don't know, but either way, the explanation that we get with the impromptu binding vow slaps so hard because it makes so much sense. It's like you were gonna use, what is it from Hunter x Hunter? Ko? No, Ko is the pinpoint damage. Ken, I think, is like the reinforcement aura shield or whatever to a specific body part. Yeah. So
Ren.
Yeah, like hockey type shit. Yeah. Wait, what are you saying?
I said Ren, but it's not Ren.
No, Ren is just like the flex of
Ken.
aura. But like I'm pretty sure it's Ken, yeah. Or it's like Ryu or something like that. Either way, you have that concept inside of Nen, where it's like protect the body part you want by flooding it with, you know, extra, you know, energy to, you know, brace the impact or whatever. And he was going to do that for the arm, but then instead said, fuck it. Like even if I defend the arm with cursed energy, the steam explosion is still going to destroy the rest of my body. So, fuck it, binding vow, whatever energy was going to be used to keep my arm alive is now gone from the arm, dispersed throughout the rest of my body, and I lose the arm so that all of me doesn't explode. And that's just so good. I love that. Either way, we knew there was going to be some kind of cushioning effect that he created for this explosion, because as crazy as Gege can be, they're definitely not just going to blow this man to smithereens, you know, to kill him. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I just couldn't see it, whether it was the doors or some other kind of cursed energy related thing he was going to block mortal damage from this, you know what I mean? And but at the same time, it's like that uncertainty was there. It's like you never know. Like even though you know, a lot of us wanted to be sure that Hikari was going to be okay, the writing has been so high stakes and so uncertain in, you know, as far as the fates of characters in Jujutsu Kaisen historically, that it's still just itching in the back of your head, like he could die actually, like this could kill him, but it didn't, and we're happy about that. I definitely wasn't expecting them to team up by the end. I think that that's really cool and still makes sense. You have these fighters that like it's always like a common thing when it comes to warriors in manga, that they respect the people that beat them. Like even if they're maniacal mass murderers that will just kill anyone willy-nilly at the drop of a hat, if you flex on them, they understand that and they acknowledge that, and they're like, okay, I kind of like, you know, we get each other a little bit more now. We didn't kill each other, and before I was trying to lop your head off, you know, with no words, no care in the world. But now that we've kind of reached this understanding, we kind of have this like mutual honor, you know, dynamic where it's like we can work together, and it does feel good because this is an old school warrior, you know what I mean? He plays by the rules of getting beaten, you know?
Yeah. He does that kind of like warrior's code sort of ethic going for them.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like the part that I like is that it's the tentative alliance. Like I like that they touched on the fact that like, because like people was like, oh, what's this curse technique? What's the curse technique? I like that they explain it. It's like, hey man, I can only use that shit once.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was you that said that their shit might be similar to that. Or maybe it was you, Mello, that said that like Hikari was going to introduce like an impromptu binding vow to save himself. Somebody was talking about somebody hit me in my DMs and was like, dude, Mello totally called this in the new Jujutsu Kaisen chapter. I can't remember exactly what it was that they said.
I think it was the fact that they were gonna be like the domain can only work once. Like I said something along that line
Mm-hmm.
of thinking, where I was like,
Yeah. It was something. If anybody
because
remembers what we
I'm
said.
fairly sure what it was
Yeah.
is that he said Kashimo potentially placed a binding vow on his domain or curse technique where
Mhm.
it becomes extremely like exponentially more potent, but he can only use it one time on Sukuna.
Yeah,
Which he does.
which was a great prediction because obviously that's exactly what we got here, and it makes sense, for Jujutsu Kaisen because that is clearly, well, maybe not clearly, but it feels very strongly to me like a reference to Kurapika's character in Hunter x Hunter, right? The way that they tailored their Hatsu around the Phantom Troop. You know what I mean? So I think that is just so cool. You know what I mean? And awesome that we called that to some degree, regardless of what the verbatim prediction was. If anybody remembers that offhand or wants to go back into our coverage to find the direct quote on that, I would appreciate that in the comment section if you guys could manage that. But good shit.
Yeah.
Either way, killed it.
I loved kind of, I guess, to go back to what you touched on as far as page 5. Love the explanation on like the chemical interaction of when Kashimo like so quickly and immediately released all of his cursed energy in such a volume that before it could even disperse into the water, it just turned right into thermal energy, caused the steam explosion. Love the explanation on the binding vow. Saying like, all right, I'll take the full damage here, but let me be, clean everywhere else.
Yeah.
That explanation was super tight. Gege always just keeps things so just tight with a nice little bow on top as far as these explanations go, man.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking nice.
It just feels so like thorough and so perfect every time.
Yeah. And I'm very, very excited that Kashimo, I know, I can't remember which one of you said it, but you were like, man, I hope somehow it happens where Kashimo joins the squad.
I think that was Yato.
Well. Was that Yato?
I think it was Yato. Yato has always wanted that, like since they started fighting. Because I don't want either of these characters to die, and I want them to be teammates. Actually,
I think you're right. I think it was Yato, but I'm definitely hyped as well that he was able to barter kind of an agreement between them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hyped to see more Kashimo shit. I like the interaction between Hikari and Charles.
Before that, we got to talk about how Hikari's like, anyway, I got someplace to go. You two wait here. And it's like Panda and the dude who literally just eviscerated him. Like, you guys will be fine. I'm out of here. And it's like, oh my God, no, Panda. So, like, you have no way to defend yourself at all. You've got to be so scared.
Yeah, he says, he's like, I'm scared. Don't leave us alone.
Oh, yeah. We do get it right there, screaming.
But
anyway,
Hikari's not sweating this arm loss right now at all.
Yeah. Because he knows that, like, the next time he gets into a fight, he's going to fucking expand his domain, hit a jackpot, and then heal himself.
So you guys think that, like, even without the hand signs, he can expand his shit?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
He does say he'll fix it later, because he's like...
That's what I'm saying.
Charles says, like, what happened to your arm? He's like, don't worry, I'll fix it later. So I think that's who he's going to go to. I think he's going to go to someone that specializes in reverse curse technique.
Yeah, there we go.
And then using the jackpot.
Yeah.
Either Yuta or the other chick with the school, right?
Yeah, Shoko. I was literally just gonna say Shoko, or you, and he's probably thinking of Yuta. You know what I mean? Because him and Yuta have a history. You know what I mean? Like they have like a rivalry. Dynamic. Like they're familiar enough with each other. I bet you Hikari knows that he has external reverse curse technique healing at his disposal.
He could just go up to Yuta and be like, "What's up, bro, man? Give me
just like old times. You got me? Yeah, type shit. Yeah. I could definitely see it happening like that. And, Shoko is also an option there, too. And he definitely knows who Shoko is. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure he's from that school originally. You know what I mean? The same school as, like, Yuji and Nobara and Megumi. He's Tokyo school, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. He has to be. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be. Originally, I said domain expansion, but yeah, he probably can't cast it because he doesn't have the other arm, so he's got to be like banking on like one of his friends to heal him, which is totally fine. I was also thinking like, I don't know why, but like as soon as you reminded me that he can't make the hand sign, my mind immediately went to Isaac Netero at the end of his fight with Meruem.
Hands to pray?
Yeah, you think I need two hands to pray? A prayer comes from the heart, but we already got that reference with Todo in, Shibuya, so it's probably not going to be done again. But it was just funny. I had to bring that up. But yeah,
I love the myriad of expressions that we see from Hikari, man. It feels like he has gotten much more expressive since we first met him.
Yeah.
Like we get all these little quirky, goofy panels of him reacting, like when Charles is like, "I'm a noob who hasn't even debuted." He's like,
huh? Yeah, he looks like fucking
just
Pit Boy
with the big fucking Pit Boy.
Yeah, he's like the fucking Fallout dude. Yeah, or yeah, I think that's who I'm thinking of. He's got the fucking like Pac-Man eyes. Yeah.
Looks like Ness.
Yeah, it looks like Ness. I think that's who I'm thinking of. Ness. Yeah. Or Lucas rather, since he's got like more of a Lucas haircut. But yeah.
I love that like bottom right panel on page 11 where he's just like, "What do you mean not yet?
Yeah.
You are acting like tough shit. What do you mean you haven't even gotten published yet?"
Right.
Yeah.
Opinionated dickhead. Gonna beat your ass up.
Yeah. And then Momo pulls in, and I just like love seeing like Momo pull in because I'm like, oh shit, hold on, we might be getting like the whole Kyoto school, which makes sense because we saw Miwa kind of like hinted at a few chapters ago or whatever. So yeah, all of them coming in slowly feels really. I knew as soon as I saw Momo that we're gonna see another Kyoto person in this chapter, and lo and behold, we get Noritoshi Kamo looking like fucking Hawkeye, like Matt Fraction and David Odge's Hawkeye. Ooh. Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy shit! And then someone like tweeted like, "What did they do to my boy?" And I like quote retweeted. I was like, they turned him into Matt Fraction's Hawkeye.
They got him put together.
Yeah, I like the design. I personally fuck with it. I think he looks better now. I think he looks cooler now. I don't know. Something about the haircut with the closed eyes slaps harder than the long hair with closed eyes, like Maki was commenting on. I think everything about it is just great.
I mean, he had a unique, cool aesthetic before, you know. But I agree with you, Knox. I think with this aesthetic on him, looks so much fucking tighter. He looks so clean, bro.
Right.
And I'm like, let's go, Noritoshi Kamo. Let's go.
Somebody said they gave Noritoshi Kamo the aesthetic update that main characters of shonen manga get after they get married at the end of the story, and I just can't stop fucking laughing because I'm thinking of Naruto and Ichigo right now, and it's fucking sending me.
Bro, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that's so true though.
Like holy shit.
Dad aesthetic.
Yeah.
For real. I do like the fact that they even touch on it's like, I like you better this way. And he's like, and the thing is,
you too. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think it's interesting because both of them are like outcasts from their clans, effectively. He's the bastard child. And the thing is, he mentions it. He's like, hey, there's another head of the Kamo family. A bastard like me is unnecessary. So he finally gets to like wear the clothes how he wants, how he gets to wear his hair the way he wants, instead of like following the like very unique, very traditional stylistic choices.
Yeah.
I can see why he'd be like, you know what, fuck this stuff, I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna start off fresh. I totally get that. He's like, this is a new way of life. I'm free from a lot of my past obligations, which I dedicated my life to. Like he lost an eye for those roles and traditions.
Oh, he lost an eye?
Didn't he take damage to his eye at one point? It probably got regenerated, but like...
No, I think that's just like his like blood doping technique that creates like that bloody, like jagged bloody effect around the eye whenever he's doping. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't remember him taking specific damage to the eye. I remember Hanami stole off his shit in the fucking exchange festival arc, and he like bounced down the block and like into the river and shit. I remember that, but other than that, I don't remember him taking like any damage at all for real. But it's interesting though that that you bring up the fact that he like has kind of like lost the throne of the Kamo, and because he's like a bastard kid or whatever, and like someone else like more worthy like took it or whatever. And I'm wondering because someone was talking in our group chat on Twitter I can't remember exactly what they said. I think it was Aniki Smash. He was talking about the possibility that Kenjaku could have like reprised his role as like the original Noritoshi Kamo and just said, "Hey, Gojo sealed. The Zenin have been massacred. Now I can like kind of like come back to this Noritoshi Kamo role and like take over the clan because they're in like the best position clan wise out of the three big families. So like that makes sense as far as like his role as the puppeteer of everything or whatever. But there's also the possibility that Kenjaku's awakening of curse techniques across the board, as far as like, because there's like the two kinds of people that are in the culling game, the people that, ate a cursed object like Yuji, and the people that had their brain rewired like Junpei to become sorcerers. Maybe there were, higher blood Kamos that didn't have techniques for one reason or another. And the culling game activated their techniques, and now that they have one, they're better suited for the throne than bastard Noritoshi Kamo. So there's that possibility as well, which I think I like more than Aniki's prediction. I mean, either one works, and obviously Gege will write the shit out of that. Like they both make sense, but I think I just like the idea that like, yo, I was the king, but like my fucking older brother didn't have a curse technique and now he does, so now he's the king. And like as soon as that awakened, they were just like, oh yeah, you get this dude out of here, what the fuck.
Yeah. We never liked you anyway.
Yeah, we never liked you anyway. You were just like the best thing possible on the bloodline at the moment, but now you're fucking now you're like cousin or older brother or something like that who's like true blood Kamo, has a curse technique, and we're gonna make him king.
Man, but I do like how Maki and like Noritoshi are kind of like buddying up because like they got that common ground. They're like, yeah, your family sucks. Same, bro. Like,
yeah. Yeah, like this dynamic is just so beautiful. I love this pairing. It makes so much sense. I can't believe I never really thought about it before. But yes, they do have like a lot in common. So
and then they have the perfect frontline artillery like combo because like Maki is such
the bruiser. The bruiser berserker. Close quarters fuck you up, and then Kamo's in the back like pew 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 pew. Yeah. Love it.
Lincoln.
Yes.
Katniss Everdeen, Cat Piss Everpiss.
Cat Piss Everpiss, get out of here.
Oh, come on. He's bending so he's bending arrows. He's got trajectory changing. Come on.
Yeah, this man is clearly Hawkeye. Get Katniss Everpiss out of here.
I'm dead. So I love the dialogue from Momo though. Like when she's telling him about Maki, she's like, she's turned into what? And she's literally got the sweat coming down. Like Maki's just got that different presence. She said, a monster.
Woo, boy.
Kaibutsuja.
Yeah, and she's just cleaving this curse in twain.
Yeah,
I was saying it because that's what you be saying, and you were right on top of it. That's hilarious, and I love the panel at the end of the double spread where she's just looks lit, like having the time of her life, like living for this shit. Like, no, Maki is on a different kind of time right now, and I'm so happy that we're switching perspectives to her involvement in the culling game because this is literally what I wanted next after Hikari and Kashimo. And Gege delivered. So I'm eating, I'm feasting. I can't lose. I win. And I'm happy about it.
We eating.
Yeah.
Man, but yo, this worm.
Yeah, new curse on the scene. Oh shit.
Special grade probably?
Absolutely.
It has to be.
It has to be because it even has Maki like,
yeah.
What is this?
Maki
reacted.
Not only can it just speak, like regular language, which is like what we know that special grades like specifically
qualification.
Can do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like nothing below special grade can like talk like this. I want to say. He really only said shut up and do you want to die, so like that's not too crazy. I think I remember the actually no, I don't think it is a qualification because remember the grasshopper curse that Yuji bodied in the beginning of the Shibuya incident?
It could talk.
It could talk. It was very dumb, but it
was only saying like
enough. Yeah, it was just saying I'm smart, you're not
shit.
smart. Yeah, like it was very very dumb, very like low level dialogue. So you never know. And I guess, other curses have been shown to just be like groceries, car wash.
Exactly.
Yeah, like saying like random shit. Yeah, you did get that.
Yeah, he responds to the Kogane. mentally present enough to respond to the Kogane
Yeah.
and then talk shit like, "Do you want to die, bitch? I'll fucking murder you." And the
Yeah.
Kogane's like, "You ain't killing shit, bitch. I'm
Yeah.
fucking Kogane."
Yeah.
But special
Kogane.
grade for sure.
And I'm remembering now that Yato threw out a couple predictions for this worm curse at the end here, since it was coming from the sky. You know, I think he said one of his ideas was that, like, since we had like land and sea, you know, we had like nature, fire, and water curses, that this could be, you know, like the long lost brother of the curse family in regard to like the sky curse or something like that, since it's coming like straight from the air, which is like kind of crazy. I don't think that it's coming from the sky because it's a sky bound inherently, now that I think about it. I think that it's just entering the culling game, and like everyone kind of just falls from the sky. Like Yuji, when he walked in to the culling game, was suddenly just like free falling from like skyscraper height. So I don't think, now that I think about it, that this is inherently a sky or flying curse. I think it just entered the culling game and is like falling down to the ground. But he had some other ideas. I think he said that like this isn't actually the character. Like the worm is the outward aesthetic, but there's someone else inside the worm. That's the actual curse, I think, is
like
what Yato said.
Wearing it like a shell.
Yeah, like wearing it like a shell, and I think that would be really cool. I think I like that idea the most from Yato. I can't remember, he had a third one too, but maybe he'll hit us in the comments. Yato, hit us in the comments with your third idea or whatever.
Yeah. They do be dropping in though, so he's not flying in like I thought he was. I thought for sure he was flying in, but they do be getting dropped in on some fucko shit. So
yeah,
I'm thinking centipede now, honestly.
Yeah, centipedes do be scary, but like, where's the rest of the legs then?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. He just got these little mini arms.
Yeah, little pterodactyl arms.
These little mini arms got me shook. I don't know why. Like, he about to put these paws on somebody with these mini arms, bro.
Yeah.
These quick ass paws.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it like, it looks like a caterpillar, like a fucked up caterpillar with like.
Yeah. Oh, this is totally gonna fucking molt and turn into a fucking butterfly or some shit. Some kind of like Venomoth or Butterfree, like late stage transformation, chrysalis
butterfly
cocoon
curse on some fucking, oh my god.
My sister, like that is a phobia. Like my sister is like legitimately like medically afraid of butterflies. So
on some poof shit, bro.
Yeah, like on some spiritual message.
So, this dude about to be on some poof shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
spores.
it's like a silkworm, or like, because like the face with the holes and shit, it reminds me of like the bot flies, where it's like several holes.
No.
We've already had the festering death blade, right?
Yeah.
Blade of life.
Yeah.
So that's already touched. But with like the caterpillar-like body, I imagine that might be a place where hands or like silk will come out of.
Nice.
As like a forward-facing cannon, or like a guard where it has like, you know, just nasty stuff reach out.
Right. I like that, because then that would be like some pretty cool, like, you know, because we're so used to like high energy beams or just like huge like DPS attacks as far as curse techniques and shit go. Yeah. Like it would be cool if we just got like, I don't know, maybe it obviously has, you know, win conditions as far as damage goes to actually kill people, but if like a main technique was like, you know, predominantly used for like crowd control, like CC, like stun you, root you, you know, wrap you up, you know, snare you type shit, I think that would be like really cool to get right now amidst like all of these wildly powerful and destructive, you know, curse techniques and whatnot.
Well, and the silk thing has got me thinking, like, caterpillars like cover themselves in silk, right? That's their cocoon. You know, they kind of build themselves like a silk cocoon that hardens and then they hatch out.
Yeah, I don't know the science for it, but yeah, it's something like that. There is like a I think it might be silk. I don't know if it's silk.
Having the silk, man. What if this thing gets in here, starts eating motherfuckers, bro, and then like cocoons itself up, comes out on some fucking Mothra shit, like sentient, bro.
Oh, dude, I think it's a wasp curse. So there is a type of wasp called the Bracconid wasp, and what they do is they infect caterpillars and then they burst out from under them. So I
Oh,
think that the big holes is a place where bees are gonna come out of.
oh my god, no.
And, like,
Not
it would be-
anything but bees.
But like seriously, look up the Braconid caterpillar. Trigger warning: it's gross.
Oh, I'm not looking it up then. Thank you for that warning.
Braconid. It is disgusting. It is very gross.
Take me back to cockroaches then. Fuck it. Bring Kuroroshi back.
So, like, I think it's interesting because like that is another form of plague, right? Because like cockroaches fly, there are nasty bugs that swarm, and then this would be wasps specifically.
Cockroaches fly?
Cockroaches can fly.
Like actually?
Yeah.
Oh god, ew, I've never seen one fly. I'd probably
Good.
fucking throw up and shit at the same time if I saw one flying.
Shit myself and throw up as
Yeah. Gross.
No, I've yeah, it's some stuff. But like yeah, it's a parasitic wasp that basically, stings and implants in caterpillars, and then the caterpillar lives. And it's a type of hornworm, I believe.
Yuck, dude. That's like some xenomorph shit.
Yeah, hornworms are a 5-spotted hawk moth. And now that I'm looking at the picture of the caterpillar, it kind of reminds me of the body of this new character, actually. So I'm firmly in the camp of this is a parasitized hornworm curse with wasps. Gross.
Yeah, that is disgusting. And I completely forgot I was going to talk about like the differences in translation throughout the chapter. We're like kind of at the end now, so I guess I'll just like talk about like the Kogane translation with the worm curse at the end. I don't know why I prefer the fan translation for the reaction to the worm curse from the Kogane versus the official, because like in the TCB translation, he's like, knowing that, do you still want to enter the colony? And he's like, shut up or I'll kill you. And the Kogane is like, eek! in the TCB translation, like worried, scared. But then like in the official, it's like, do you want to die? And then the Kogane is like, Tch. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of like scoffing at it, like, like, Tch, like, fuck you talking about, like, type shit. And it's like, I just prefer the Kogane being like timid and scared versus like, fucking douchey.
I like it better that way. It makes it feel like the Kagane is like, I don't know, invincible, right? It's like,
oh, sure.
You wish.
Oh yeah, I guess that's cool too. But I mean, like the Kogane is just like such a non-combatant that it's just like, timid and scared is like more fun and funny than like, you couldn't kill me if you tried, bitch. It's like, oh okay, Kogane, like, are you gonna fight then?
I like a really sassy.
Like, are we ever gonna get an example of someone trying to destroy the Kogane and it just comes back like fucking Hakaware pot clean from fucking Knuckle and Hunter x Hunter, like Chikandas, Orokugatsukimasu, or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
I love this Kogane's like look because of like the speckled tear-like marks on its face, and the way its eyes are hollow, like the caterpillar's thing's eyes are hollow.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the Den Den Mushi system in One Piece, and I just like love that about the Kogane concept in Jujutsu Kaisen. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the Kogane.
So there's a couple things I kind of wanted to backtrack to.
Yeah,
honestly.
same.
The fact that like Maki, because of her lack of cursed energy, seems to be able to like traverse from colony to colony, barrier to barrier.
Yeah.
She doesn't get a Kogane.
Oh, she doesn't? Wait, do we know that? Do you only get a Kogane if you have cursed energy? Has that been said? Because that's really interesting if that's a thing.
It hasn't been said, but
yeah, she doesn't have a Kogane with her as she dispatches this random curse.
Yeah, and also they seem to be outside of the barriers or anything, and Noritoshi is kind of on the background, right? He's kind of like, sniping here and there, making sure like aggressive curses aren't escaping into the greater, wider world.
Yeah.
But they talk about like, oh yeah, we need to go to this colony. Like Momo was talking about how they're going from colony to colony, and they can circumvent the necessity for Rule 3.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk about that page on 13 where they're talking about what rules they want to add.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that.
Yeah, because I mean, like we already have the top right one done. That's the Higuruma one. Make points
Mm-hmm.
transferable. And then the other one is to remove the communications block on colonies to learn what's happening in other colonies before 4. And then 4 is allowing going in and out of barriers to save culling game victims. And then 2 is to allow the use of 100 points to create a substitute so individuals can withdraw from the culling game. That's really interesting. I like that a lot. I don't know why I did that in that order, but like this is cool. You know what I mean? Because it's like we have a clear idea of like the short and long term goals of the protagonist, because a lot of people have been talking about how like there's like no plot progression and it's just back-to-back fights. First of all, it's a battle royale arc. The plot progression is the accumulation of points. So I don't know, like what do we want to like just fast forward to like all the Kenjaku stuff and like not spend as much time on fights in a battle royale arc? That feels kind of weird. I feel like if that happened, people would talk about how there, is missing, or wasted potential in an arc like the culling game to give us a tournament battle royale kind of setting, and then just like give us like steady plot progression and movement towards the end goal of Kenjaku. Like, no, we need to spend time on these fights because that's what the arc is about. It's literally a bloodbath. Kogane says it every time someone enters the shit. A lethal contest called the Culling Games is going on. Everyone is fighting each other. That is the plot progression. So I just wanted to like throw that out there right now for people that think that this is just like meatheadery. Like it absolutely is. But like even in between that, if you look at the idea of the culling game as the plot progresses with the accumulation of points, we're still getting extra shit outside of that peppered in every once in a while to really give us a sense of progression anyway. So I feel like the pacing and the progression of the story is like perfect in Jujutsu Kaisen right now. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, these rules. It's cool. It's cool to know like what we're like kind of really aiming for as a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a healthy recap, to be honest, of
Yeah.
like, hey, here's our original plan. Here's what's changed, so we might not have to stick with that.
Yes.
Where's the leniency? Like, what's the optimal play? And so far, God, just Maki's design is so good. Look at that cowl. Look at that cape. Fantastic. Yeah. Still has like a little bit of that school loyalty with the buttons on there.
Yes.
And then she's waving that giant broadsword that Toji used.
Mm-hmm.
In what was it called?
Hidden Inventory.
Hidden Inventory.
Star Plasma Vessel arc, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember this mouth.
I thought that was Mai.
I think so. If you look at the zoom in, if I went to like the Toji Fushiguro wiki.
Yeah, it has a very similar hilt, right? It has like the fluffy like hair hilt, or guard or whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So, but I don't remember the mouth at the end on the Toji sword.
I thought this sword was Mai, but I don't know. I could be wrong. And I only call it that because that's what I thought. Maki's sword that Mai created is the same sword. I remember us saying it had a very similar aesthetic.
No, this absolutely is Toji's sword because he has the mouth on the end of it in this panel that I just pulled up from Hidden Inventory. So this actually is the exact same sword.
And it's a strong sword too, because like he used that to cleave through like
everything.
All everything that Geto Suguru threw at him.
Yeah, he threw that like rainbow dragon at him or whatever, and he sliced that shit like butter, and he was like, "This is like one of the higher defense curses that I own." And he just sliced through it like nothing. I remember that line of dialogue.
That was a solid bud, It's just like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't remember these teeth.
Sword has like a tassel on the end of it. It looks like. I know.
What are you looking at? Where are you looking at this?
No, that's not even it. I'm just looking.
Buddy, are you looking at Playful Cloud?
No, I'm not looking at Playful Cloud. I just typed
it's an honest question. That is the weapon that she be using. So
I just looked up Maki's new sword, and it looks like it looks like to me like her new sword also has the mouth.
Yeah, Yeah,
Hey,
because this is
it's
the
sword.
same sword, absolutely.
Same
And
sword.
I never noticed like the mouth, I guess, because it was never at an angle that would like really like have the fucking end of it like in your face like that. So I never noticed like the teeth. But yeah, pulling up the Toji panel from Hidden Inventory where he's literally like walking out of the curse that tried to swallow him.
Here,
You
pull up the Discord DM on your phone here. I just
Oh,
put it in the
sure.
chat.
Yeah. I mean, like, it literally, if you just type in, like, Toji hidden inventory and then go to images, it's, like, one of the first ones. Literally the second one for me. Like, standing there, like, surrounded by, like, curse guts with the sword, like, in hand, and he's covered in blood.
Mhm.
You can see, like, the mouth, like, on the end very subtly.
It's when he first like really fights
Yeah.
Gojo and Geto.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it's either the same. I don't know. I don't know that it's the same sword or if it manifested itself. If Mai manifested herself into a copy of the sword.
Yeah, something like
Mm.
that. Yeah. Could be. It could be. I'd have to go back and reread like the Zenin like massacre stuff and like really see it. But like either way, whether it's a facsimile or the real deal, it is aesthetically the exact same sword as Toji from
Yeah.
Hidden Inventory.
Right.
I just feel like Occam's razor in this point, where
Right.
it's just, like, it could be a thing, but like I think like unless this is foreshadowing for a shape-shifting weapon, I
Yeah.
think it's just the regular weapon.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. But we could go back
Which
and look at
hasn't
the
been
Zenin
named
stuff.
either. So like there
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
more to learn about it and like its special abilities and everything, which I'm kind of looking forward to.
I really need just like raw curse tool, curse weapon like exposition because.
Mhm.
They like I remember a line of dialogue or exposition earlier in the series that said that these tools are imbued with curse techniques. And it's like I've been thinking to myself like there are living sorcerers or there were living sorcerers whose curse technique inherently was the effect that these curse tools now have. And I just think that that would be like really cool lore to get inside of Jujutsu Kaisen to like find out that a certain sorcerer's curse technique was literally the inverted spear of heaven's effect of neutralizing, you know, curse energy and curse techniques on contact, which like sounds a lot like Angel Kurisu's curse technique. And they're obviously an old school sorcerer, right? Because I'm pretty sure they're looking for Sukuna too, maybe. I can't remember exactly. But like, if that was a thing, and like maybe Angel Kurisu in their original life was the sorcerer who had the inverted spear of heaven's effect inherently in their technique, then died after, or maybe not after imbuing the tool with their technique, but maybe they died and then their technique was post-mortem imbued into the tool. Maybe that's how it works. Either way, now they have been revived for the culling game and have that technique again, so it would make sense as far as like continuity goes in that way. I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but like I just really want the curse tool exposition stuff, like, you know,
I'm picking up what
pages,
you're putting
chapters,
down.
whatever. Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
definitely want more explained into like equipment, right? Because
Right.
like we have so much with curse techniques. We've been like learning more about reverse curse technique and how it's like related to the brain. We've learned about domains and like how they cancel each other out, and like that's great. But like, where's the basic? Like, where's the basics, right? What
Yeah.
is like the stuff that we've been really hyped for like aliens area? I want to see a little more of that arena of combat
Yeah.
to be fleshed out in
And-
that same
and-
kind of way that's more satisfying.
Maki's reintroduction into the story is a perfect opportunity for that, honestly. Like, if we're going to be
Oh, yeah.
focusing like hardcore on Maki the same way that we did with Yuta and Hikari, then that, since that is her MO, like, it makes a lot of sense for us to get the exposition we're talking about in the Maki focused chapters in the Culling game. So I'm excited for that because you know that she's got like, what, just this sword on her right now, but. Oh man, I guess I was looking for like a duffel bag full of curse tools because I know that that's what she went to the fucking clan for, but she seems to only have like one weapon on her right now. Yeah, and I'm like looking on the double page spread to see if there's maybe other concealed weapons, but no, the cloak comes off when she's in combat and she's just got very form-fitting clothes that can't hide anything extra. So I think she's really just wielding this thing for the culling game, which is like also tight and crazy that she's that confident with one weapon for an arc like this, especially coming out of the Zenin massacre stuff where she specifically was going to the clan to retrieve or to retrieve like a bunch of cursed tools for the culling game. Maybe she just went to go get her collection, look at it, and be like, all right, this is the one I'm bringing into the culling game, and that was always her plan. But like, I just expected her to be on some fucking like Punisher shit, big duffel bag full of guns, like, see me in the streets, I'm pulling out, you know, everything out of my Felix the Cat bag on your ass.
I don't think she went and got this sword from anywhere. This is mine.
Oh sure, yeah, or that, you know, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I remember. You remember when Mai first died and she like transferred her life force into the sword or became the sword or whatever the fuck happened.
Now I gotta go back. We brought this up enough to where I'm just going to go back and look.
Mai literally becomes this sword, or like as Mai's dying, this sword materializes in Maki's hand.
Yeah, something like that.
And then we get the dialogue about how, you know, she's gonna, you know, use Mai in order to like complete their dreams, basically.
Yeah, hold on, I'm about to look.
Something along those lines.
All I remember is that she does the dying wish of kill everyone.
Right.
The panel that I put in the Discord DM is literally her holding the sword like right after it spawns, and like we get the, you know, the flying birds panel, you know, after Mai's death.
Yeah.
And then she fucks Buddy up. That was fucking with her. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, the head of her father.
Yeah, the swordsman dude. Yeah, her father. Yeah.
147, 148. There we go. Here we go. So she definitely goes there to get the cursed tools, but then she's defeated by Ogi.
Ogi, yeah.
Yep, and then brought in here. Then they have the curses come try to eat her. And then my shit, boop, boop, talking about twins, throw the rest away, destroy everything. Yes, yep. And then, okay, so do they have a weapon beforehand? No, they're thrown in here with no weapon. And then, yes, the weapon materializes in her hand as Mai dies. Yeah. Yep. So I think you are right. I think this is a facsimile of the same sword that Toji used. And I think we actually talked about this like when we were actually reviewing the chapters too, now that I think about it. And
yeah, we did. And then right after she lops Ogi's shit off, she's like, Mai, let's get started. Like, says this to the sword, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean that it is a facsimile, but like Mai's ability was that she could conjure something out of cursed energy. So
oh my god, yeah, that's right. So that's totally her. But how would she?
But like, is it a perfect copy, or is it something that is like she knew that she recognized the sword because her family hated it or something, right? And you know, she's the good kid. They would definitely like let her in on the inside track of like, yeah, we hate these people, we hate these things, blah blah blah, you know. So like, the question remains: is it the same sword as Toji Fushiguro's?
No, I think I'm confident now that
sword. Yeah. And then like, if it's a copy, it splits into two more questions of: is it a perfect copy, or is it a similar but different?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Those are good questions. Yeah. No, this is definitely like, because her maximum technique obviously allows her to just create, you know, things or whatever. So like that makes sense as to why the sword materialized in her hand. I think it could be as close to a perfect copy as possible because she traded her life for this creation. True. Right. So it could be explained in that way. I think that makes a lot of sense. But either way, yeah, it's definitely not the exact same sword. So I'm glad that we eventually went back and confirmed that, because I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely a possibility, but I think it's actually just the same sword. But no, it is absolutely a copy. And it's and I like the idea that that Mello had when he was talking about how like she knows of the sword just because of her being in the family. But I wish that we would have gotten just a little bit more on the sword before this situation, so that it just made it feel that much better that was the sword that was created, because it kind of seems like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess you can connect the dots and say, well, they're all Zenins, they all, you know, and Maki's, you know, obsessed with cursed tools, so they could have had plenty of off-screen conversations about the best cursed tools, which ones Toji used. We could definitely fill in that gap ourselves with our, imagination. That makes enough sense logically, but I just wish that for the sake of us, there was just a little bit, and maybe we'll just get that, a little bit later. There's definitely still time for that. You know what I mean? But in the moment right now, I'm just like, damn, can we have gotten a little bit more on the sword specifically if Mai was going to kill herself to create it for Maki? Like, that would have been cool to get. But anyway, now we know, and that feels really good. Good shit, Eagle.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else for Jujutsu this week, though.
Yeah, I think that's about all I had as well, to be honest.
That's it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this chapter of Jujutsu, and that will do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more fire-ass weekly content. Also, don't forget, like we said in the beginning of the show, Chainsaw Man is back. It's going to be going on the Patreon show. Links will be down in the description for all that, and also Max's live stream going in depth about the reasoning as to why. Like we said in the beginning. Comment in the comment section down below. Let us know what you thought of this weekend jump. Chop it up with us down there. Also, like we said before, check that description box. You'll find links down there to any and all of our individual social media accounts like Twitter, online communities like Discord, audio listening platforms to listen to the podcast on, as well as the link to our Patreon if you want to support what we do more than you do already by just watching it. So yeah, with all that said, this will be another stupendous episode of the Project Manga Podcast wrapping up. I'm your host, Igu.
Knox.
And I'm Melianis.
Peace.